Okay, testing. What's up, Landon? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Wait for more of you guys to come in. What's up, Strato? What's up? He come in like, what's up, Damani? He comes in, Xbox is dead. Wait for more of you guys to come in. How's everybody's evening? How everybody been? How you doing? I was busy day today. I had to work on I'm working on my Venus and Ryan Comics website, just working on it some more. I'm trying to get this thing up. I'm gonna try to launch this thing as soon as I can, so I can get everything prepped and prepared and stuff like that. So prepare for an announcement when it comes to the website pretty soon. So I've been working on that all day. And I had to work on some reviews, or no, I wouldn't say reviews, but some first impressions or some impression videos on a couple of indie games that I had a chance to try out. So expect some content on that coming up really soon and stuff. So I'm getting hit with so much stuff. I'm getting hit with. Was a great tier list you did on Monday. Could we do console system startup sounds next? We could probably do something like that. I'm probably want to do handhelds after do handhelds next first before anything. Do you have a tier list of arcades? I didn't really play much arcades, so I can't. If I'm doing tier lists, it has to be based off of my experience with arcades and stuff. I haven't really played much arcades. Most time, like in the '90s, I played some arcade machines, but I'm very short. I'm only like 5'5". So as a kid, I was really short. So by the time I was able to reach the controls myself without having, to get on the stool. Well, they didn't really have stools where I was at most of the time, or having to sit on my dad's lap, or my dad had to hold me up, or whatever like that. By the time I got of age or tall enough, arcades were kind of like fading out, or whatever like that, and more so everybody started sticking to home consoles. So I wouldn't be able to make a tier list really on arcade machines or whatever like that because I haven't really played them like that. I haven't really played them. But yeah, there'll be a couple more tier lists I'll do. That I'll do in the near future. I think it's fun, especially talking with you guys and you guys sharing your experience and everything like that. But as I said before, when it comes to Mugen TV podcast or when it comes to streaming, my goal is to stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around maybe 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'm trying to hit that time. But like I said, I'm a father and I got other responsibilities. So I can't really set it in stone that it'll be exactly 5 or 6 o'clock because things happen. Sometimes maybe it'll be 7 o'clock. But it's around that range, 5 or 7 o'clock. Be around that range when I start my streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if I start a little bit earlier, I'll definitely leave it at the community tab or something like that. So are you dreading your wallet upcoming birthday? Luckily I prepared a bit more. I prepared a bit earlier when it comes to my daughter's birthday. Because me and my daughter's birthday, like we're 2 days apart. She's the 26th. She'll be 16, and mine's is the 28th. Which I'll be 38. And so her birthday, like my birthday is non-existent. Once my daughter was born, my birthday is non-existent. It's because her birthday becomes before mine and stuff. So I spend a lot of time and spend a lot of money and stuff on my daughter or whatever like that. And now my daughter's older enough, she gets me gifts too or whatever. But yeah. I'm a bit more prepared. And plus, she got her granddad, she got her grandmom that's gonna be spoiling her. And now that her mom finally came back into her life and reconnected with her, and also her grandmother on her mom's side. So she gonna be getting a lot of money and shit like that. They gonna be sending her and everything. So what's up, Cavern? What's going on, man? What's going on? We'll be starting pretty soon. You know how we do it. First, those who may be interested in the Discord can join the Discord. Here's the Discord invite. What's up, Cook? What's going on? And then, as I said before, you know how we do things. You also check out my YouTube channel. If you are new or didn't know I have a YouTube channel, because still people who don't even know I have a YouTube channel. They only know that I'm on X and vice versa. So here's also my YouTube channel if you're into gaming content. I cover culture war content, not as much as I used to. I'm pivoting away from that. That was supposed to be like a segment that complements my channel, but I don't even want to deal with it no more as much anymore. Got burnt out of it, tired of it, and too much drama. So yes, if you love gaming content, I cover a lot of gaming content and news here on this channel. I love giving my impressions on games that I've tried out. Give reviews on games that I played. You'll definitely be seeing, if you're in JRPGs, you definitely want to get a lot of RPG news here on this channel as well. Even though it's a gaming channel, there's things that I do favor. Before, like you see the banner where it says Versus Corner and RPG Haven. You know, when I did my first pivot or my second pivot, it was more so focusing on fighting games and JRPGs, where you're gonna get a lot of fighting game news and stuff. But fighting games, man, like as I'm getting older and my responsibilities are getting loaded more and more, I just don't have time to dedicate myself into actually spending time with fighting games, even though I'll still play them. But like me trying to keep up with all the fighting games and the news and stuff like that is just, I will still cover it and stuff, but you won't see as heavily as it was before here on this channel. Also, what's up, Vernon? Is that your baby mom and daughter in good relations now? Yeah, they are, I would say, in a sense. Yo, what's up, Furious Dan? What's going on? Glad to have you here. What's up, Ruin? Yeah, so this is my YouTube channel. You can definitely check it out. I already posted the link to the YouTube channel in the chat, so you can go to it. And yes, I am on Twitch. I'm using StreamYard. I'm streaming on multiple platforms. So youtube.com/twitch.tv. Was it slash? Is it Mugen Lord? I think that's how the links go. Let me check. Make sure I got it right. So I can give you the link. So yeah, I'm trying to build a streaming audience on all platforms. So you can go check Twitch too if you're on Twitch. If you are on Twitch, I said youtube.com/. Yeah, so there's my Twitch. So you can follow me on there. I got 395 followers as well. Said need that Mugen character tutorial anniversary vid. Oh man, it's been a while since I even picked up Mugen and stuff, man. I'll probably get back to it at some point because it'll never go away from my channel. I did post a Mugen video like a couple weeks ago, like one of my newest Mugen matchups and stuff like that. So yeah, Mugen would definitely make a comeback at some point here on this channel. It would never go away from my channel. Never ever go away from this channel. Now, how often you see it, that just depends on how I'm feeling. Like me, like when it comes to me getting back into Mugen, that depends. But yes, I put the link to the Twitch. I put the invite to my Discord, and as I said before, I put the link to my YouTube channel. Yeah. I do want to I'm going to I will have to remake that first. I will remake the bad joke. That was a Mugen series where Batman and Ryu had to go fight against Mad Gear Gang, and they found out that Bison and Joker were joint forces, and Chun-Li and Catwoman went missing. So I will remake that first. That's what I would do. I will remake that first. and then I'll do a sequel to it. That's how I would do it. If I ever decide to go back and get right back strongly into the Mugen again, that's what something I would definitely do. Definitely do that. I think that would be fun to get at a try. Yeah, man. That I think that would be dope. Yep. And then of course, as I said before, you know how we do things. Strike and Kill Tees. This is my brother's custom t-shirt business. We do custom tees and custom designs of t-shirts. So if you guys have ideas or you want us to print up and make custom designs for you, you definitely go to this website. We don't just do custom tees, man. We do custom hoodies, sweatpants, leggings, halter tops, swimsuits, wallets, mouse pads. We print it. You know what I'm saying? So you can definitely go check it out. As I said before, uh, also, Mugen TV is going to have a store, a shop section that you can be able to go to on Strike and Kill Tees pretty soon. So you can get Mugen TV merchandise, just like the shirt that I'm wearing right here and right now. You will be able to get this shirt. You better get the hoodie, the sweatpants, and stuff like that if you're interested in something like that and other merchandise. Also, these are some promoters that we had done some work for and did packages for. So you can definitely go check that out as well. Yeah, Square Enix is a Chrono Trigger is a Square Enix game. Yeah, so you can definitely check that out. And then of course, let me put the link first in the chat so you guys can go to it. Also, these graphic designs are we're graphic designers, so you won't be able to find the designs anywhere else. Like you can't find them in any other apparel place or Amazon or whatever. You have to get them from us because we the ones that do the graphic designs and stuff. So you can't find them anywhere else. So make sure you definitely go check it out. And if you're interested, show some support. It's also we're doing a $5 off this entire year. So you can just get that promo code and you get the $5 off your first purchase. So definitely go check that out. And then of course, Venus Orion Comics newsletter. Like I said, I highly suggest and urge you guys to check out the newsletter and subscribe to it. It's completely free. You get behind the scenes news and updates when it comes to Venus Orion Comics. And also, man, you get perks like free wallpapers and other goodies that I'll have for you guys just because you became subscribers. And also, just to also let you know, when we have contests where you win like a comic or win some merchandise and other goodies, you can't participate in any of these contests like fan art contests or gaming tournaments to win prizes and stuff unless you are subscribed to the newsletter. You have to be subscribed to the newsletter in order for you to be able to participate in any contest that we have that's involved with Venus Orion Comics. So you make sure that you subscribe. Also at the bottom, there's the links of the social media platforms that we are on. As far as Venus Orion Comics is concerned, so you can go definitely check that out. Just to update you guys of what's going on with VK with pre-orders, just to keep you guys updated. What's going on with the successful campaign fulfillment. As I said before, we about to start fulfillment pretty soon because the books is almost here. Right now, the keychains that when we reach our stretch goals, it's a lot of keychains. I definitely want to think next time because since these keychains is free, this shit costs me a lot of fucking money. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the pre-order it was for printing the books, was for printing the books and also shipping and packaging, and then I did the stretch goals, for when we reached the 4K, and that I made a promise to give you guys three keychains, which consist of Tech Lock, Nolan Brett, and Jasmine. And my God, I should have did some better logistics because after finding out that I have over 200 people, over 200 something people, I had to give over 200 something people 3 keychains, and that shit adds up. I was not expecting that shit to add up the way it did because of how cheap they are. But once you start piling up and getting big orders, oh man, that shit cost me a lot of money and took a whole lot out of what's supposed to be left over. So I I did not calculate that right. So I had to do something different next time when I do stretch goals for chapter 2 or like that. I guess I got a little too happy, gun ho, when it came to the stretch goals and what I can get for free and stuff like that. That shit cost me a lot of fucking money or whatever. So that was a mistake. That was a miscalculation on my part. Let me see. He said, "Is it raining in your area?" No, it's not raining. It's windy. It said Mugen gameplay started popping up in my feed. It's like super amigo, but not Nintendo characters. I'm looking forward to see more of it on the channel. Yeah, man. What's up, Top Dog? Maybe we'll get Mugen TV related news. Yeah. We'll get some Mugen TV. We'll definitely get some Mugen TV related news, man. Definitely want to get that going. Suffering from success. It said Vampire Killers popping. Yeah. So yeah, that really hit me hard. Giving away free giving everybody three keychains for free. That really fucked me up. I fucked up the logistics on that. So I'm going to do something different when it comes to stretch goals. Since I remember, it's not like it would have been different if I had like a bigger if my campaign was much bigger as far as success is concerned, then it wouldn't have hurt me as much. But yeah, them free keychains hurt the fuck out of me. Said board a Sonic and Tails kill strike and was not disappointed. Yeah, I forgot all about it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, forgot all about that. But yes, so the keychains came in. I had it's 564 keychains. So the boxes came in. They came in yesterday. They came in yesterday. So those boxes for the keychains came in. And I'm gonna take some screenshots of the boxes, so I can put it updated on the Kickstarter, let everybody know the keychains came in. Because you know me, I'm about transparency. I want to be transparent to everybody. So those keychains came in. And as if you're new or you just getting here, the books were supposed to be here. Well, covers B, C, and D was supposed to be here by at least the 13th, which is tomorrow, and 13th or the 15th. Well, as I said before, I ordered the books or whatever like that, and didn't check my emails for 2 days because I thought that at that order that was it. Come to find out that Mixam wanted a double confirm to make sure, because this is a big volume of books and I spent $1,400 or whatever like that of the pre-order money or whatever like that, and they don't want to print off anything unless they know for sure this is how I want the books to be printed and stuff. So me not checking my Venus and Ryan Comics email for 2 days, they were waiting for it. So when I went to check my Venus and Ryan Comics emails, 2 days went by and they was waiting for the confirmation. So I just made the confirmation 2 days later, which means it pushed it from the 13th to the 15th window to now to the 18th, which is next Tuesday. And as I promised before, I said that once the books get here, I'll start shipping off the digital comics. So this is what I'm going to do. Since the books are not going to be here tomorrow or Friday, I'm still going to send off the digital comics on Friday. And so starting on Friday throughout the weekend, I'm gonna ship out all the digital comics to everybody. I'm still gonna ship it off, regardless that the books didn't hit the doorstep yet. So you guys will be able to read VK over the weekend, VK Chapter 1 over the weekend. So I'm also gonna make that notice update in the receipts and stuff like that to let everybody know by at least Friday night at 11 p.m. I'll let everybody know that digital comics will be going out. So I'll be going out by each tiers. It's a lot of you motherfuckers. So I gotta get all this stuff, all the emails, and I gotta start sending it all out and stuff. So you guys will get your PDF file of the digital. So if you got cover A, you get the cover A PDF that has the cover A. If you got cover B, you will get your cover B PDF with cover B digital. And then same thing, cover C digital and then cover D digital. So I have to go through each tier to send it out. Because remember, as I said before, the physical comics also get digital. I'll repeat that again. Physical comics also get digital for free. So if you got a physical, you're going to get your digital too by the weekend. You'll get your digital version of the comic as well. And those of you guys who got the physical, no, who got the digital only, you of course will get your digitals as well. So yes, I'm going by tiers. So the first people in line to get their digital will be the digital tier first, or whatever like that. So they're the first tier in line, and it is the cheapest tier. It's since Kickstarter does the organization by tiers and how descending order. So yes, the first people who get it, I'll send it out to everybody who got the digital first, and then go down to the next tier, which is cover A's, and then cover B's, and then cover C's and stuff like that, and cover D's, and do it that way, and send them all out by the weekend. So hopefully by the weekend, you guys have read chapter 1. So hopefully by Monday, we can start talking about chapter 1 a bit. We'll do a spoiler, a non-spoiler, and spoiler. So like the first half of the stream, we'll do a non-spoiler, and then we'll do the last half of the stream, we'll do a spoiler discussion of chapter 1. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions on how you guys feel. Like I said, it's my first time, so I'm nervous right now because this is the first time I'm about to get critiqued and stuff for my first outing and stuff like that. So, and this is detrimental because it's going to determine whether or not you guys going to want to return for the second chapter or not. So everything is banking on this first chapter or whatever, because, depending on how successful or how you guys feel about it, it's going to determine how or if there is a reason to put out a chapter 2 or even continue this journey or whatever like that. But we'll see. Let's see. He said suffering from success. Vampire Killers pop in. Said Border Sonic is not disappointed. Said you're a by Zelda fan, right? Highly recommend checking out the Zelda fan series called The Legend of Zelda Heroes Purpose by Majora Link. All right, I'll check that out a bit. Personally waiting for my physical, especially after buying all 4. It was collect digital dust. Digital dust. Yeah, so cover A won't be at the studio until the 25th because there's 117 copies, and it's a bigger volume compared to the other ones or whatever like that, which is going to take longer. So the 25th is when cover A gets here. So what I'll probably do is I'll start fulfillment of like the covers B, C, and D. For those who got B, C, and D, I'll start fulfillment with those and once cover A, then I can be able to start beginning to do fulfillment for cover A's and stuff like that. So we'll do that in everything. So you said would make Xbox handle switch like purpose for your family. All right, let's get into the topics of today on tonight's podcast, episode 6 of Mugen TV. And that's we about to begin with that. He said China is dope, or if you're trying to ice skate uphill. What's up, Neo? What's going on? What's up, San Eater? Yeah, so all right, so this we're gonna start off with yes, we'll start off with the Xbox handheld that was leaked out. They actually leaked out not only a handheld, but it was a leak saying that the next console for Xbox is supposed to be releasing 2027 in the next 2 years. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that but a bitch? He said, I ain't had enough cash to throw in on this one. I would love to, but work disappeared and my truck's rear end went out. Dude, it's no problem over here, man. So hello, Mugen Lord. What are we going to be talking about today? We're talking about Xbox leaked out a potential game handheld, and also a potential console that's supposed to release in 2027, a next gen console of Xbox or whatever. So yes, let's get into this. I didn't read this article yet. I wanted it to be like a first time like reaction from for you guys as well. So I just bookmarked it and said, yo, I'm gonna come back and I'm just going to use this for this stream. So it says it's from IGN. We're gonna talk about it from IGN. I mean, other places are covering it, but IGN, it's a familiar place. So in the article, it stated that full next gen Xbox reportedly set for 2027. Xbox branded gaming handheld due out later in 2025. Now this is going to be interesting. What's up, Emerald? As I said before, man, it looked like every time it looks like it's the writing on the wall for Xbox because the Xbox decision. A lot of people is saying that Xbox is throwing in the towel. Many people saying that the console war is officially over. Sony pretty much came out on top because of the decision that Microsoft has been making as far as putting their games on other platforms and everything like that. And I also covered it on the channel how there was ex-Sony executives that's total agreement of that. They're saying that it's a great idea that Microsoft should do that. Of course, they would say that because, that's even though they're ex-employees or ex-CEOs, they're still, they still like loyal to the Sony brand. So for them, that's competition that's out of the way. So now, of course, now we're hearing that Microsoft may be doing a handheld. And just to give you my personal opinion before we even get farther into the article, I can see why they're doing a handheld. I can see why they're doing it. And the only reason why I can see why they're doing it is because of this all digital Game Pass, that they're trying to do with this strategy, acquiring all these different studios. And they seriously want Xbox to be everywhere. They want you to take it everywhere. They want it to be on your phones, your tablets, other mobile devices, VR headsets. They want it to be everywhere. If they can even have it on PlayStation, the Game Pass, they'll put it on that, and also on Nintendo if they could. So all the handheld would do is complement it. Let alone if they decide to allow Steam to be on it, then that also expands the handheld even more. Now that you have Xbox and Game Pass and Steam on your handheld, I think that would be pretty crazy. But let's move on to the article. It says a new report has outlined Microsoft video game hardware ambitions, alleging a full next-gen Xbox is set for 2027, and an Xbox brand gaming handheld is due out later in 2025. Now, another thing I said, I covered it also that there, was it like 2023 that I covered it, or maybe last year, where I said that Microsoft was planning another console, but they were speculating around like 2026, but we're getting it around 2027. The question is, will this be an all digital console where they just get rid of the disk drive altogether and it's just strictly digital? We have to wait and see if this rumor happens to be true. And as I'm always going to report to you guys, even though in this article from IGN is reporting it, you still take it for a grain of salt until Microsoft themselves actually makes the official announcement. So, Windows Central reported on a partner PC gaming handheld codenamed Keenan, which is apparently in the works for late 2025. And a successor to the Xbox Series X and S, now fully in production and due out in 2 years. So it's fully in production. So that means well, when it comes to consoles, next generation consoles, they normally, after they release the new generation of console, they normally already begin development and working, on research and development and start working on the next consoles anyway. So it's not surprising, but in production, just to hear this. And I'm also reminded that when it comes to the Xbox and when it comes to the PS5 or this current generation of consoles anyway, I keep forgetting that we're already 5 years into this console generation, which is mind-boggling. That we went by this fast. And what's so sad about it is we haven't really got that true like next gen or current gen experience from both of these consoles, from the Xbox or the PS5. We are finally starting to get some notions of it, is because we talked about it in another video where where Sony's going to start cutting out PS4 games and stuff like that from the PSN Plus that they have going on, their subscription service. So there's already speculations that now Sony's already starting to shift gears and is going to start cutting off the support for the PS4, which in my personal opinion is about time that they should. Now, will PS5 and Series X, experience a tremendous boost in quality or power, of raw power with these next couple games that doesn't rely on current gen? I wouldn't say like a major boost, but you will probably start seeing the difference. So, which means that since we're already in the middle of the life cycle of this console, of these two consoles, we're just now going to start probably experiencing what both of these consoles can actually put out in terms of the performances of these games and and visuals and frame rate and all kinds of other stuff. So that's something that's really crazy that it took this long, because they had to rely on last gen consoles because of these budgets for these consoles, So back to what we were saying, it says that Windows Central. So Microsoft is yet to comment on the report. However, its gaming executives have spoken publicly about both devices in vague terms across various interviews. In January, Jason Ronald, Microsoft's VP of Next Generation, told The Verge that the company plans to combine Xbox and Windows experiences together for PC gaming handhelds made by original equipment manufacturers, otherwise known as third-party hardware manufacturers. Existing PC gaming AOEMs include Asus. Yeah, and I talked about this. And Razer, Keenan does not relate to a first-party Xbox handheld. This is what I was telling you guys. Let me go read these comments before we continue on. I don't want to. He said, "What's even the point of releasing a handheld in a new console if Microsoft is a third-party company? How would you restore Xbox to their former glory?" Both good questions. Both quick comments. Put out games that people want to play. It's that easy. They like it's not like Microsoft just totally lost the game. All they have to do is put out quality products and put out first party exclusives. They don't need third party exclusives. I'm not a believer of third party exclusive, but at least the console, at least the developers, the Microsoft themselves need to be putting out some bangers to get people, and they need Japanese studios and Eastern studios to be on board, and they have to market and advertise these Japanese or Korean and Chinese games on their platforms. Is the fact is that they're not marketing these games. They're really not marketing these games at all. They're not putting the time and the resources and trying to make their hardware attractive for gamers that wanted to get on board. Because remember, Xbox 360, they was killing it. It was Sony who lost Tekken as an exclusive. They lost Devil May Cry as an exclusive. Man, Microsoft was eating up those multi-plats. You know what I'm saying? They was eating this shit up on top of releasing quality first party. So it wasn't like they wasn't good or anything like that. Microsoft was actually doing good during the 360 era. It was the Xbox One where they fucked it up. It was how they fucked it up. Going in with the Xbox One with the whole DRM policy, and they pretty much got on the motion control train super late because, like I said, Nintendo realized they had to get off the motion control train with the Wii U. Not the Wii U, with the Wii. The Wii was a fluke. They got the casual audience, but it doesn't mean that the casual audience are going to stick around and be hardcore gamers. So Nintendo got smart with it. They went to the Wii U, but the Wii U didn't work out because of brand recognition and the way they marketed the Wii U. But even they got away from the motion controls. Even though that you was able to use your Wii remote for the Wii U, the whole emphasis was the gamepad itself for the Nintendo Wii U. So they was getting away from motion controls. Remember, Sony and Microsoft, they got into the game really late when it came to the motion controls with Kinect, PlayStation Move. They even adopted the Mii's, which Microsoft had their avatars, and then Sony tried to do their own thing with PlayStation Home and all this other type of stuff. They started like copying, or they was inspired by Nintendo. So with the Xbox One, they fucked up because they continued that trend of the Xbox Kinect. They continued the trend of motion controls. And instead of them worrying about gaming, they took the Xbox One and turned it into a multimedia console. A multimedia console. Are you serious? They turned it into a platform, a cable box. That's what they turned it into, where you could be able to watch sports and have, Skype calls and all this other type of nonsense. And who are they marketing to? Gamers went to see games. And when the Xbox One had their presentation, there was no games for the Xbox One presentation during E3. All these niggas had was showing off that you can watch television and watch fucking sports on the Xbox One and showing off what the Kinect can do. Gamers didn't want to see that shit. And me as a gamer didn't want to see that, especially when I was the one who was a big fan of the Xbox 360. You guys see my console tier list. My it's high. Xbox 360 is high on my tier list. It's on the S tier, which is unforgettable experience because Microsoft pretty much took console gaming, took online gaming to the next level. Xbox 360 had the best ecosystem, had the best online service compared to its other competitive consoles within that generation, man. I built so many friendships, had so many moments with you guys with my online gatherings that was incorporated with my YouTube channel, Mugen TV and stuff like that, all because of what Xbox 360 has produced in terms of online experience. And if anybody said that the PlayStation had the best online experience, you're just a fanboy, you're just delusional. Xbox, hand down, you cannot deny that the Xbox 360 and Xbox Live had superior online gameplay for consoles. I'm not counting PC. You notice I didn't mention PC. PC is on a tier of his own, but I'm just talking about amongst the consoles. All they had to do is just copy the success of what they had with the Xbox 360 and just making an extension. Just carry it on to the Xbox One, and they fucked all that up. And that's the crazy thing. And they won't even acknowledge that they messed. They won't even acknowledge that's why they messed up and shit. You know. Remember the PS Vita didn't do so well. I wasn't really a fan of the PSP. They dropped the ball with the PSP and the Vita. Like it was Nintendo was just kicking his ass, and that shouldn't have went that way. That should have been the PSP should have been a great competition for the Nintendo handhelds, and they just fucked that up. They fucked the PSP up. I did not really like the PSP that much. So I'm low-key looking forward to handhelds, especially the PCs, considering how expensive the parts for PC they're becoming. I like how versatile they are. Yeah, so like the handheld competition is about to get really, really heated. So the PS Vita had potential. The main reason why it failed because the Vita was mostly proprietary and they didn't have much games. It was mostly a JRPG machine. How are you, Skua? Let's see. What's up, Rocky? Sin Eater. What's up? You know what the what? We have virtually lost all good storytelling with non-action games. Even the Final Fantasy series turned into one basically. They even lost me as an exclusive. Damn, say my boy Nick saying the same thing, man. I'm for third party exclusives. There's so many out there, and like PS2, Gen, they helped define the brand. See, no, I like this is the thing. A long time ago, it made sense because we wasn't in a digital era, and also online gaming wasn't a big thing. So everybody was in their little echo chamber back then. It was easy that way. Everybody was in their echo chamber back then. What defines a brand now is what the first parties can produce and put out there. You know, Sony brags about their exclusives and stuff like that, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and all that type of stuff. Now that we got into an era where we into digital gaming, online has become a major thing, and now you're starting to build these ecosystems, and you're starting to build friendships across various platforms. And as I remember, I started getting frustrated over time to where I'm like, damn, like this is a cool game, but my friends only got the PS3. I got the Xbox 360, and it sucks that we can't play. It sucks that we can't play together or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So cross platform for these third party games was the perfect idea for this, and I think that everybody should have hands on with these third party games. I think everybody should be able to play Kingdom Hearts. I think everybody should be able to play Final Fantasy and things like that. I think if you really want to solidify your spot as a console, for your console and your brand, I think you as a studio, like a Nintendo, that's why Nintendo dominates. They have iconic first party titles. You know what I'm saying? So if Nintendo can pull it off and Sony got their brands of first party games, Microsoft should be able to do the same thing without having to rely on third party exclusives and stuff like that. I think everybody should be able to be able to get their hands on those things. I think that your first party should be the thing that should distinguish you from the rest and stuff like that. Let's see. Absolute. He said connect with dog shit. So the only thing sucked during his expertise was connect. I agree. So if Microsoft could just stop hiring for its DI activists, Xbox One was beginning of the downfall of the console. Yeah. Like, how did you drop the ball that much? What's up, Jonan? DRM having to use Microsoft account. Yup. They killed everybody. And I'm telling you right now, Sony also had the same idea as Xbox One, but when they seen the pile on that Microsoft got, they said, yo, they called up and said, yo, we better go back to the drawing board and switch some shit up. And they capitalized ever since then. So I wanted one for something, but cannot remember that game. Yeah, so let's continue on. So where were we? Oh yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Now, the thing I wanted to mention was I said before, what Microsoft is going to most likely do is that they're going to probably do what EA did with the 3DO, where they're going to have different manufacturing their own Xboxes. That's what I think that's the direction they're going to go. And as I said before in my last stream, that I think at this point that Microsoft is going to be like a hybrid. It's going to be like a hybrid of a console a distributor and also a third party publisher. I think that's what's going to end up happening. And what they're going to do is, in my personal opinion, and what I'm theorizing, is that if you're a hardcore loyalist to the Xbox brand and you just love the ecosystem itself, you're going to stick with the Xbox and still buy their hardware. So the hardware become more of a premium type of thing to have if you're a loyal Xbox fan. And what I believe they're going to do is they're going to have different manufacturers create their own version of the Xbox, of the next Xbox platform or the next Xbox console. And that would be another way for them to penetrate other other markets. Like say for instance, if you get say for instance like Asus, I think Asus is very popular in Asian countries, like if I can remember, Thailand or Taiwan. In those countries, Microsoft is really not popular there, or whatever. So what they can do to penetrate the market is if they take the Xbox, have Asus create their own version of the Xbox console instead of having Microsoft on it. They would have Asus on it. So now people in those countries in Asia or whatever like that, they're loyal to Asus. So if they see an Xbox that's developed that has Asus name on it, they're probably more than likely going to buy the hardware simply because Asus is making it. And that's what I think they're going to. That's what I think. That's what the plan is. If they're going to try to get Xbox hardware in markets where they have a hard time penetrating. And can you imagine in South Korea, Samsung? Can you imagine if Samsung decided to say, "Hey, we want to produce our own Xbox console"? And when I say their own Xbox console, they're probably going to have different. They would. I'm saying this is all my theories. This is not like. This is not saying that it's confirmed that this is what they're doing. This is just me theorizing what they could possibly do. Can you imagine Samsung? Samsung is a big brand in Korea. So can you imagine Korea making their own Xbox and each Xbox had their own different specs or whatever like that? So now you have the Koreans are more willing to buy an Xbox because Samsung name is on it. So that's how I see them probably doing that with the handhelds and maybe even the consoles. He said, I don't care about any consoles anymore. PlayStation games are thin veil propaganda. Xbox allow Halo to be killed multiple times. I don't really care about Nintendo, honestly. Just let me get a PC. So basically, kind of like an aftermarket, yeah, GPUs, aftermarket Xbox consoles. So that's why, yes, so that's why I think that they're gonna probably try to do when it comes to that. That's just my theory. I could be wrong, but it's just me having fun speculating with it where this could possibly go. So it says, as for the next generation Xbox, Windows Central said it fully greenlit at Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. The console is reportedly a premium successor to the Xbox Series X in this console, alongside a first-party Xbox gaming handheld and new controller, are set to round out Microsoft console offering in 2027. So the suggestion then is Microsoft does not plan to release a direct next-gen successor to the less powerful Xbox Series S. Perhaps Microsoft expects its handheld to occupy the cheaper, less powerful console space. So that could possibly make sense, meaning that you won't get an Xbox Series S. Instead, the handheld will fill in that space for the S while you have your powerful machine, which is the next generation Xbox. Also, there was talks or there was a rumor saying that they're building an Xbox operating system. So what they're trying to do is they want to have these operators, just like how Microsoft has Windows in everything. They're trying to get Xbox operating system in everything. This is how they're able to niche themselves with the Game Pass in their brand. So, like I said before, even though it looks like it's the writing on the wall for Microsoft, it's still unpredictable because right now it looks like that Microsoft is getting their ass kicked, or it looks like that Microsoft is at the bottom of the totem pole. But like I said, 2025 and beyond is going to be full of surprises, and it'll be crazy in the long run because that's what I believe they're doing. I think they're playing the long game. I think in the long game, could be possibly wrong about this, but I think in the long game, they can pretty much switch, like they can flip the script. Because like I said, we're going to an all digital era. So to me, it seems like they're trying to capitalize on the all digital before Sony and Microsoft hop on board. Because I'm telling you right now, everybody is clowning Microsoft right now about their decision, but they'll keep forgetting that Sony is not above this. Sony, don't be surprised that Sony also go this direction at some point or even sooner than you think. So don't be surprised about that. There could be a lot of things, a lot of variables in the fold that we just haven't calculated or haven't seen just yet. We only seen what's in front of us. We can't see what's going to happen in the long term. I think the only thing that's going to really fuck Microsoft up is if they don't turn those Xbox passes, Game Pass, if they don't get them subscriptions up or have it steady, and as we've seen it's cannibalizing sales, they got to work something out when it comes to that. Because if you're not having the exclusive or having games that's worth getting an Xbox or a Game Pass for, then what's the point of this whole entire system? In order to get Game Pass, you got to have some shit on it that's worth playing. And I think exclusives is the thing to do that. Like to get a Game Pass, you gotta have something that's worth coming to the platform to get those things. As I said before, if you're already a Microsoft fan, you're already an Xbox fan, you're not going to go anywhere no matter what. But it's about increasing the memberships, the subscriptions, and getting more people into the ecosystem and adopting that ecosystem. In order to do that, you still want to need some type of an exclusive or something that warrant the purchase of an Xbox, you know? So yeah, where were we? So yeah. So Windows essentially expects the next gen Xbox will be more like a PC than any Xbox before it, and will support third party storefronts such as Steam's, Epic Games, and GOG. Continued backwards compatibility is given. Yeah, now that's the crazy thing. As I said before, if the handhelds actually end up getting Steam on their Xbox handheld, if the next Xbox end up actually getting Steam, that is dangerous as far as like the competition is concerned, because now you have even more of a reason to get an Xbox, because not only are you going to have the Game Pass, maybe some Xbox exclusives here or there, but you also going to be able to expand your library through Steam itself. Now you're able to add your Steam library and catalog to it. Now the biggest question is whether or not is it worth getting the next Xbox console if it's going to be more like a PC? Because then the question is, would you just rather just go out and get a gaming PC? But then you also have to think about it when you look at these graphics cards like Nvidia right now. It's like the optimization of these games and the performance of these games, despite having these expensive ass cards and you have these expensive ass rigs, your PC's even having a hard time trying to play these damn games. So now the question is, would you rather spend all that money for a gaming PC, and still end up getting the same results because of poor optimization and all this other type of stuff, where you can just get a console and just you have to worry about all that extra upgrading and putting together your PC and stuff. So that's the question. So last year, Xbox president Sarah Bond, Microsoft was moving I quote, moving full speed ahead on our next generation hardware, focused on delivering the biggest technological leap ever in generation. So now these guys are talking about this next Xbox is supposed to be is going to be a next general technological leap, and that's remained to be seen. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens to be the case, especially if you're trying to get storefronts like Steam and all these other type of things. You will want to have your Xbox be a juggernaut, which means that this next Xbox has to be running on an Xbox like operating system or something like that to be able to hold all those different type of things on the platform. Now, I'm not a tech wizard, I'm not a tech geek, so I could be talking out my ass. I could be wrong, so you can pretty much correct me in the chat or whatever like that. But I think this next generation could be interesting, because if Microsoft is making this move, then the question is, what is Sony's move going to be? So it says there is much speculation around the future of consoles generally. Xbox Series X and S are floundering in the console war, and Sony has suggested that the PlayStation 5 is approaching the second life of its half of its life, while Nintendo is set to launch the Nintendo Switch 2 later this year. There is growing concern that the traditional video game consoles could be under threat, because, as I said before, we'll get to it in a second. Spencer has said in an interview that console business has failed to grow meaningfully in recent years, offering a sizable but static customer base that is increasingly playing a handful of enormous games, leaving little room for everything else. Last year, former Xbox executive Peter Moore told IGN that Microsoft would have to been discussing whether the console had a future. Based on the latest report, it seems like Microsoft has decided they do. So yes, this begs the question of the future of console gaming moving forward. My brother Striking Keel said that they may not even get the next PlayStation or the next Xbox, especially if these next consoles are going to be more like PCs, even more like PCs. Then my brothers and them saying like, you know what? Then what's the point? I might as well just get a gaming PC. I'll upgrade my PC, get a better rig, and just game on my PC from now on. Especially with the new president of Sony and with the PlayStation, he's looking to get more of their first party games on the PC anyway, and hopefully try to get them day and date for some of their games, for first party games. So when you got that going on, and then when you got Microsoft already been before everybody else put their exclusives on PC, you might as well get a gaming PC. The only console that you would get to complement your gaming PC is a Nintendo console, since you would never really find any of their first parties on the PC at all. It just makes sense if that ends up being the case. So that's why people are now worried about the future of consoles, because we are heading into that all digital era where physical media is pretty much starting to fade away from existence. It's going to be kind of hard to be able to get those physical games. And I think this is going to be the era of when games where companies like Limited Run, which I hate Limited Run, but you will probably start getting more companies similar to Limited Run, to where they're going to be the only ones that's going to be printing off physical media of the games that you want, because companies like third party companies and first party companies won't be creating or producing any physical media or physical forms of the games that we enjoy. All right. Damn. So I don't care. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I wish you made mod on consoles. It would be cool to have GTA 5. I would love for Xbox OS would have a similar UI, either the OG or DC interface. That's interesting. Also, don't dwell on it, but we didn't have cross-platform during set, and like we do now. Is a plus, not a deterrent for the exclusives. So especially if the games are single player. I can see Microsoft considering the market share of operating systems and computers and tech in general. Yo, what's up, LG? What's going on, bro? The problem is gaming PCs going up is going to price regular consumers out. Yeah, it's getting expensive. It's forceful evolution everyone anticipated, but no one asked for. It's why Google Stadia failed, to be honest. But Google Stadia was just shitty. Period. I think everybody has to start. For things to kick off, somebody has to start it. Stadia did it. I think the only problem with Stadia was, where most people was upset about, was the fact is that if you bought a lot of the games that came to Stadia, you already own, and there was no way to bring over all your games that you bought and bring it over to Stadia. So now a lot of people were upset that you had to go back and rebuy most of the games that you already own on other platforms or even on your PC and stuff like that. So that was one drawback. And then it still also relied on a internet connection. You have to still have a good, stable internet connection. That's the only way that will be able to work. And we still haven't gotten there yet, but it was the first step to it. So I commend Google trying Stadia and giving it a try. And it won't be the final try either. They're going to keep trying it until they get it right. We're going to get to the point where game consoles is all going to boil down to, your console is going to be this. This is going to be your console. It's going to be a thumb drive. It's going to be a dongle, kind of like the Fire Stick. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to end up happening. Console's going to end up being this. You're going to buy a dongle from said company, and they're going to send you a controller. So you're going to have a controller and a dongle, and that's how you're going to have access to these games or whatever they have. It's going to be about services. That's all it's going to be about in the future when it comes to digital services, and that's how they're going to do it in the future. So what's LG? Yeah, so that's what they're going to end up doing. I've been saying this for years, that this is going to be the future. I mean, Microsoft already got something with Amazon. Amazon Prime did something with the Xbox, where they're going to have an Xbox Fire Stick. I believe it was. I covered it on my channel. I think it was about last year. that I covered it. That they're gonna have an Xbox Fire Stick, and that's just a preview. And I can see every company. I think Nintendo's gonna be the last one to do it because you know how Nintendo is. But that's what I want to believe is going to be about. It's going to be about game services rather than the consoles itself. I think that's where we're going to be moving to in the near future. So yeah, and I thought Nintendo Switch's cartridges was small. So yeah, man, that's what I think. That's where we're going to be heading, and I just think that it's interesting. And I always said that Microsoft should have been done a console, and Microsoft should have been done a headset for the Xbox. A Microsoft headset would have been pretty cool. We would have got some cool VR games from Microsoft themselves for the Xbox platform. They should have been gotten to that market. But if Microsoft do come out with a handheld, yes, man, good competition and good competition is good for the gaming industry. And it's good for everybody because then you will have the Steam Deck, then you would have the Xbox handheld, and then of course you would have the Nintendo Switch. I think that would be pretty good, and I think that's what's going to happen is I think the Xbox handheld, because like I said, people keep saying, people keep talking about, oh man, like Steam Deck, like is crushing Nintendo Switch and this, that, and the other. Why get Nintendo Switch and get a Steam Deck? And people keep forgetting. Only hardcore gamers knows what a Steam Deck is. I still know people. I have friends, I have family members who don't even know what a Steam Deck is. They don't know what it is, even though it's a good handheld. Most people don't know what it is, but they know what a Nintendo Switch is. So Nintendo is still not threatened by the Steam Deck itself. Now, what could possibly bring more light to the casual audience about the Steam Deck may be the Microsoft Xbox handheld, because everybody knows what Xbox is. Everybody knows the brand. Everybody knows what that brand is. So if they market it in a way where it's yo, this is an Xbox handheld, and then people find out that it got Steam on there and all this other type of stuff, people's gonna start digging in more and more, and maybe eventually they'll discover that the Steam Deck is this. What's this? You know what I'm saying? And then we'll get even more adopters to the Steam Deck, and more people start becoming aware of the Steam Deck. Then Nintendo might get some competition or some pushback because now more people are aware of the Steam Deck. I mean, the casuals. I'm not talking about the hardcore, but I'm talking about the casuals. If they start being aware of the Steam Deck and they start going out buying the Steam Deck, then Nintendo may have to start worrying or whatever like that. Let's see what we got. So I'm going to hate this. I prefer physical. Yeah, I prefer physical media too. Top dog. It's a new episode of One Piece. April. Okay. It's still a handheld. Even most people who own handhelds don't play them often. I don't really like my Steam. No, not my Steam. I mean, my Nintendo Switch always stays docked. I don't really do handhelds. Like the game has to be like really, really like one. I don't sit down for too long because I'm always doing things. That's why I never take my Switch anywhere. Because last time I had a carrying case, bought my Switch because I thought I was gonna be sitting down sitting down for a long period of time to play it. Once I get to these places, I end up either getting into full-blown conversations or I end up getting into other things while I'm at these places. And now I'm walking around with a Nintendo Switch carrying case with my games and my Switch and don't even play it. So I learned just like, just keep my fucking Switch home and just play it, just have it docked. I have no reason to play handheld. And like I said before, like the only difference with the Switch and the Steam Deck is now you got console games on the go. Handhelds back in the day I couldn't get into because handheld was like poor versions of console games. Like, yeah, they were fun, they had their own thing in their own right, but they didn't draw me in like how console games did. And that's why I didn't like the PSP much, because I thought that the PSP was going to give me what the PlayStation 1 had offered and the PS2 had offered, and now just give me that same experience but in handheld form. But no, we got handheld games, we got PSP games. And a lot of those games weren't, to me, in my personal opinion, weren't that good. And they weren't that fun or whatever like that. I'm like, man, like I said, this really sucked. And I felt myself only playing PS1 games from the PlayStation Network Classic Shop. I found myself playing PS1 games. That's the only time I really played my PSP, is when I found myself playing PS1 games on my PSP. I'm playing Final Fantasy 7. I'm playing Xeno Gears. I'm playing Final Fantasy 8, 9. I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm playing all these different games that was on the PS1 on my PSP because that's what I really wanted from my PSP, and they didn't give me that with PSP. Didn't give me that at all. And the JRPGs on PSP, they were okay. Like I would rather play on the console. That's why the only JRPG that I loved the fuck out of was Ys. That was my first Ys experience was on the PSP. And I had the collector's edition. That was a fun game. So they really were. It was until the DS came out and we started getting good amount of real games on the handheld. Like the 3DS, like the 3DS. I put a lot of hours in Tales of the Abyss because that was a console game ported over to the 3DS. Project Cross Zone, I put a lot of hours in. What else on the 3DS that I really enjoy? Trace Memory, Trace Memory was DS, I think. Yeah, Trace Memory was DS. But that was, I actually put some I actually beat that game. I love that game. I gotta get the Switch version of that. But yeah, so for the 3DS, I played a lot of Project Cross Zone 2. I played a lot of Tales of the Abyss and Smash Brothers 3DS. I think that was the only 3 games that I really, and I have 3DS games. I don't have a lot of them, but I have a pretty good collection. But I've never really played them long. I always pick them up and put them down. Don't play them long. But those are the 3 games that I actually put hours in, as if I was playing on a console. But those are far few in between. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't really put a lot into those. So they really were, guys. So also next, we're gonna talk about that the 30th anniversary of Chrono Trigger. Now you know me, I am a Chrono Trigger fan. I love me some Chrono Trigger. Can't get enough of Chrono Trigger. One of my favorite Super NES games of and JRPGs of all time. I mean, like I told you, Square or Square Enix, or however you want to label them. Man, they were the GOAT, man. They back then, man, they were in their prime, man. So there's speculation that we may be getting a Chrono Trigger remake at some point, especially with the whole HD 2D, which I'm totally for or whatever. So we're pretty much stumbling upon in honor of the 30th anniversary of Chrono Trigger. So it says in honor from Bounty in the Comics, it says in honor of Chrono Trigger 30th anniversary, Square Enix announces plans for various projects that will extend beyond the world of the game. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I didn't even read this yet. So it says after years of being neglected in favor of its Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest sister series, Chrono Trigger will be ringing in its 30th anniversary with not another port, but rather a variety of multimedia projects that will seemingly expand upon the game's cross-temporal settings. Now, this is pretty interesting. And you know why it was pretty interesting? This is the first time we actually see an announcement when it comes to Chrono Trigger anniversaries. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Maybe Japan probably celebrates it. But you see it on social media, and Square is actually coming out. And this is what got people starting to theorize, and the light bulb and is going up in people's heads. Is for the simple fact is that this is the first time you ever hear Square Enix ever mention anything on a wider scale, on a global scale, about Chrono Trigger itself. Like it's like pulling teeth anytime you try to, have Square mention anything about Chrono. You know what I'm saying? You have to really be pulling. You have to pull teeth in order to get anything out of them when it comes to Chrono. But the fact is that they really going to go out on this, and I think it's also may have something to do with the passing of Akira Toriyama, since he was the artist behind the character designs and the world itself of Chrono Trigger. So I think that's another way for them to implement those things. Now, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is when it comes to this, don't get your hopes up. This could just be some, harmless things, media projects that they could be doing. It could possibly not mean a new game or remake or anything like that. So I also want you to temper your expectations as well. So after that, it says released for the Super NES in 1995. The fan favorite title follows the Eponus Chrono. And no, that's not a typo, as the title is intentional pun on his name. Now, as he and the cast of colorful companions, including the warrior-minded cave woman Ayla and an anthropomorphic amphibian knight aptly named Frog, crisscrossing time and space in order to prevent the alien entity Lavos from returning to life and destroying the whole of reality. It said the brainchild of Square Enix Dream Team, dubbed as such in the game's project, the Dream Project, ending. The group's rank consisted of Dragon Quest franchise creator Yuji Horii, Final Fantasy franchise creator Hironobu Sakaguchi, and of course Final Fantasy series composer Nobuya Uematsu, Dragon Ball mangaka / Dragon Quest franchise artist Akira Toriyama. That is a broken. That's like the Avengers. That's the Avengers of everything. You got from music composing, manga, and video games all on one team. You got legendary niggas on one team. You know what I'm saying? And they all came together to create such a dream project. You knew they had been cooking something up when you breaking them together. You know what I'm saying? So it says that the man assembled them, the Final Fantasy series, yes, and designer Oki. Chrono Trigger has since going down in video game history as one of, if not the best RPGs ever made, to the point where it's still regularly ranks as one of the best games of all time. And no lie, man, no lie. That was a life-changing experience for me growing up when it came to playing video games in general. Like, it let me know that video games is an art. It's not just a toy or something that you just pick up and just press buttons. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. So yet, despite the clear love for Chrono and his crew, the game hasn't received the same level of affection from Square Enix. And that's the sad part. Square is known for that. Square is known for having titles, that is so loved and everyone talks about in such high regard, but they abandon it. They don't do nothing with any of those, and they just stick strictly to Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy mostly. You know what I'm saying? And Chrono was one of those titles where people speak highly of, but they do nothing with. Is the same was said for the Mana series, and now we're starting to see a rise in the Mana series, in the franchise itself is starting to make a return, which I'm super happy for. And I got Visions of Mana on the Xbox Series X, and all because I showed support for Trials of Mana remake on the Nintendo Switch, and I also bought it on the PS4 at the time. So I showed a lot of support, man. I put my money where my mouth is and showed that, and that love for that series has finally returned, But yes, Chrono was one of those games. I'm still waiting for Parasite Eve, even though I never played the Parasite Eve. My cousin and my uncle had the Parasite Eves, and I never got around to it. I ended up picking Xenogears over Parasite Eve over the time at that time. But yes, and even Xenogears. You know what I'm saying? These are things that has Square Enix had abandoned and turned their backs on, and now we're maybe getting the opportunity to see Chrono actually come back in some shape or form, because Chrono should be like an anthology series where you have every different type of Chrono game that takes place, or it has different characters, different worlds, different storytelling and stuff like that. And that would have been awesome. So not only they've got Final Fantasies, the Mana series, in the Dragon Quest series, then you also have the Chronos series alongside it, as well as especially as an anthology series of various different stories to tell, So to continue, it says outside of its two released sequels, the 1996 Japanese exclusive Radical Dreamers text adventure and the 1990 PS1 outing Chrono Cross, 1999 outing of Chrono Cross, and the non-canon comedy OVA Dimensional Adventures Numa Manjar, the only love given to Chrono Trigger in the years following its release have amounted to respective ports for the PS1, Nintendo DS, PC, and iOS and Android platforms. To their credit, the PS1 port does include all new anime cutscenes created by Toriyama's Bird Studios, while the DS version adds more areas and new endings, and the release of the Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition remaster. And I think because they added new endings, they added the new endings to the DS version to farther connect it to Chrono Cross. This is until now, as Square Enix has announced that in honor of the game's 30th anniversary, this year will see the production of numerous projects centering on Chrono and his world, which I cannot wait. Today marks the 30th anniversary of and this is from a tweet from the Chrono Trigger PR. It said today marks the 30th anniversary of the release of Chrono Trigger in 1995. Posted and said, "Dang," he said, "Yeah." So I was 7 going on 8. at the time when this game came out. So it posted the studio to the official Twitter accounts for both them and the Chrono Trigger franchise. As machine translated by Deep L on March 10th, I quote, "This timeless masterpiece, which has transcended the ages and is still talked about today, was born from a dream project by Yoji Hori of Dragon Quest, Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball, Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy, to mark the 30th anniversary of Chrono Trigger and to express our gratitude to all those who have played Chrono Trigger. We plan to develop various projects that over the next year that will extend beyond the world of the game." So I'm curious to see where they would come, how they're going to do this. It said beyond the world of the game. So I wonder what other forms are we going to get, like a special anime, like an OVA and other stuff, or like I'm looking forward to see what this is going to be. At current, Square Enix has yet to provide any details of what the Chrono Trigger birthday plans may include. However, given the vague mention of various projects, speculation suggests that rather than any new game, fans are instead more likely to end up with up getting a merchandise line, possibly OVA, or it's exactly what I said, OVA, or a collaboration with some sort of gotcha game, or in best case scenario with Final Fantasy 14. So yeah, let's see like how that would actually turn out, man. Like I'm looking forward to it to see how the anniversary. I'm tempering my expectations. I'm tempering my expectations. So I'm gonna say that. Let me see. I'm gonna read these comments real quick. There was just something special about I'm getting the game at video rentals or places like Toys R Us and looking at the game cover and manual. Yep, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Like going to the store to get a game, especially like going to Toys R Us back in the day before like Toys R Us and Electronic Boutique was the places to go before GameStop was even the thing. Those are the places to get to go. And I remember what was so dope and what was so fun in the early '90s was Toys R Us. When it came to purchasing getting your games, is because when you used to go into Toys R Us, I remember that you go inside and you go to the kiosk, and on the kiosk it has all these buttons on it, and these buttons has all the games that's either out or on their way releasing. And I remember I used to click on it, and then the kiosk would show the previews of those games, and you would have the Super Nintendo set up in another kiosk, or maybe a Nintendo 64. I remember Virtual Boy had its own kiosk. At the time, we was able to play Virtual Boy. I never saw a Sega Saturn kiosk. Never saw that. I saw a PlayStation kiosk. I saw a Dreamcast kiosk. Kiosk was something that back then they were fun. I never saw a Sega Genesis kiosk. Never did. But those were the times, man, where you just enjoy being a gamer, and then the front box art was very essential to sometimes your purchasing decisions when it came to games, because you didn't have social media, you didn't really have all these websites where you can get your information, or you need to have like full on direct connection to developers where they announce their games, unless you got a gaming magazine. If you didn't have a gaming magazine, you had to rely on the commercials that aired and stuff like that. Or when you went to like a gaming store, you would talk to somebody at the front counter, or at Toys R Us, you normally had like a gaming specialist, a person that know about games, and they would make suggestions and explain about certain games and stuff to you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Those were golden times and just fun eras of gaming. Let me see, we got here by trace memory. Are you talking about another code? Because I was really interested in getting that on Switch. It looks nice. Yeah, I'm talking about that. A trace memory. Trace memory was a Nintendo DS game. Beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's a mystery game. It's a mystery puzzle game. It's no fighting, no action, and it's really really good, man. The music, the mystery that you had to solve and stuff. I was in college when it came out. I was a freshman in college, and I had my DS with me. And I remember my mom and dad had bought it for me on my birthday, and they had when I was home on break, and I brought it back with me. And that was another time where I actually played it like it was a console, like my DS. Like I would sit in bed or sit at my front desk after studying, for my college classes, and got my lamp on and just play Trace Memory. And it utilizes the stylus and the touchscreens really, really well when solving the mysteries and puzzles and stuff like that. It had a nice story, and as I said before, man, the music was very soothing music. So, I may have to pick that up for the Nintendo Switch. I'm probably want to pick that up because that was some good memories playing Trace Memories. Said I really wish they made a Chrono Trigger sequel. Well, we did get a Chrono Trigger sequel. The Chrono Trigger sequel was Chrono Cross. Yeah. Chrono Cross was a sequel with the Chrono Trigger. And yes, it did connect. It did connect. And the reason why they didn't use Toriyama because they wanted the game to not they didn't the game was such it was such high regard. Chrono Trigger was such high regard. They did not want to compete against Chrono Trigger. So Chrono Cross is a sequel to Chrono Trigger, but not in the traditional sense of what you think a sequel traditionally is. Yes, this is like a different alternate timeline. This is like another timeline or whatever. When it comes to it, and somebody did a whole breakdown. This branches off. It branches off of what if the dinosaurs won? Because there's a lot of dragons in the in Chrono Cross. It is a whole breakdown of it. And it was like it branches off from a timeline that was in Chrono Trigger. It was more like it went in another direction. What if the lizards or what if the lizards or dinosaurs during the primates during the prehistoric time? I think what if they won or something like that? And Chrono Cross branches off from that period or whatever like that, and it created its own world, kind of like how you got like with Dragon Ball Z and Trunks timeline, where you have different branches and stuff like that, but they're parallel to each other, but they're not the same universe or whatever like that. So that's what happened with Chrono Cross. And what happens is you do meet Chrono, you see little boy Chrono, and you see Luca and Meryl. You see them as little kids at the end before you fight the final boss. Because you gotta remember, Shala, which was in Chrono Trigger, she's still alive. She never died in Chrono Trigger. So what happened is she's encased inside of a crystal, and you have to save her. You have to. Shala is the key to all of this. So Shala from Chrono Trigger is in Chrono Cross. Robo's in Chrono Cross too, but he's called this what he's called, not the memory circuit. He's actually the supercomputer that's in in Chrono Cross. Balthazar from Chrono Trigger is in Chrono Cross or whatever like that. Who else? Also, because of the new endings that they added in 3DS, the what was his name? Can't remember his name. But Chrono and Meryl, and because you remember, Meryl and Chrono end up getting married at the end of Chrono Trigger. Well, there's another ending on the 3DS version, I believe it was, which it connects. It try to farther connect Chrono Cross, but Chrono was killed. Chrono and Meryl end up getting killed in Chrono Trigger at the very end. I can't remember the guy's name. He was a knight that you meet in Chrono Trigger. He ends up getting his revenge. He gets away in Chrono Trigger, but then he comes back, and then he slaughters Chrono in his kingdom and slaughters Meryl. So they end up dying. The chick in Chrono Cross, her name is Kid. She's actually, when you play Chrono Trigger with the new ending, Luca finds a baby at the end in Chrono Trigger. If you look at the cutscenes that they added in the PlayStation version, that baby is actually Kid from Chrono Cross. She raises, Luca ends up getting killed too. She ends up making an adoption center for children, and Kid was one of those adopted kids, children. And Lynx, I think it was Lynx. Lynx was looking for Kid, and Lynx end up killing Luca and burning down the entire orphanage. So yeah, like it is a sequel to Chrono Trigger. Octopath Traveler got me into HD2D games. Yeah, I bought Octopath Traveler, never opened it. What got me into it was Alive. That was my first HD 2D game. And right then and there, I said, yo, Chrono Trigger would be perfect in this, and Xenogears remake would be perfect in this. Composer got to start. To be fair, Dragon Quest is ridiculously popular over there. you think Square going to remake Chrono Trigger? If they are going to remake it, they'll probably do HD 2D more than anything. People want a 3D full on remake. I wouldn't oppose it, but why go all out and spend all that money and they don't even know if the Chrono and even though we love Chrono, it's about capturing that audience. And what Square did, which I love that they did, they created double A titles. And the reason why the Mana series got popular once again and now are getting new games is because they went as a double A budget game, which is with the Trials of Mana remake, and that sold them really, really well. So trying to do a full on triple A remake Chrono Trigger, I don't think it's a good idea. I think they should do like a double A budget, which is like either HD 2D remake, or they can go to Trials of Mana remake type of budget style to do Chrono Trigger if they want to do that. But they should not go full on triple A. And the Chrono Trigger been going for so long, it haven't been tested, it haven't been tried and tested in a long time. Even though I would support it, doesn't mean that it's going to garner so many people to go out and buy this game. It will get the fans of it, but they try to get the audience to come in, like the casual audience to come in, the mainstream audience to come in and get it. Go double A first. Go double A. Xenosaga trilogy. They definitely need to remake that too, or do do an ambitious remaster. I would say. They had to settle for remaking their original vision and Saga trilogy. It was good, but nowhere near as Xenosaga. I like Xenosaga, but it was more to be desired. I would say that. I think my real issue is that I love the combat in Xenogears, and they totally dropped the ball in the combat system in Xenogears, no, in Xenosaga. And then on top of that, they got rid of the overworld. The game was very linear in story progression. No, story progression was fine, but as far as exploration and everything, very linear. It was a very linear game, Xenosaga. That's the thing I didn't like about Xenosaga. It was a very linear game. And oh my god, even though I love me some story in the Xeno series, but Xenosaga was the worst offender of exposition dumps. Like, you spent more time, the game took more control away from you as the player than actually playing the game. Like, when I say cutscenes, I mean like cutscenes. I'm not even talking about cinematic. You know, like I'm talking like cutscene with dialogue, with people talking and characters are conversing and having dialogue with one another, dude. Those cutscenes would go anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. So you would spend it's like you're watching an anime most of the time. You're sitting down was watching cutscenes with exposition dump. And like I said, I love me some Xeno. Man, when I say that Xenogears went over my head when I was young, it wasn't until I became 18 years old, like a young adult, when I went back and revisited and I already loved it as a kid at 11 years old, but when I played it when I was 18 and revisited, I grew even more love for it because now I was older, I was able to grasp it and understood what was going on. But Xenosaga, god damn, you have to break that game apart to really get down to the nitty gritty of the story itself, the world building, its characters. There's so much. I love it. Like the reason why I love the Xeno series because of it's not only sci-fi anime, but it's also they took a lot of psychology and they took a lot of the Christian religion and just flipped it on its head, Judeo-Christian religion, and flipped it on its head. I love that incorporation. And that was something that Xenoblade is lacking a bit. They have some of it there, but you also got to remember Xenogears was banned in Europe for a very long time because they consider it blasphemous to the Christian faith. You know what I'm saying? And I think it wasn't too long ago where it was unbanned, like a couple years ago, I believe. I could be wrong. You can correct me in that. But when it came to the Xeno series, Xenogears itself, man, I loved it. But Xenosaga, man, it was on a whole nother level. Like you could tell that Tanaka himself and his wife had so much story that they wanted to tell, and they had to try to squeeze as much of that as possible for the players to understand what they're trying to tell. And you would have to break all 3 episodes of Xenosaga apart, break it down piece by piece so you can actually get a understanding. Because that shit is, man, you had to take a college course in that story, and it's not a bad thing. But I think they had a poor way of executing it, because, like I said, you spend more time with the controller on your lap than actually playing the fucking game of Xenosaga. You did. You said still really great though. They had Xenosaga. I still remember my grandma gave me a PS3 for my birthday. Oh yeah, I figured out that Nina Williams stole Anna's wedding dress and killed her fiance to stop her from retirement. Damn, that's a bitch. I didn't know that. I saw that breakdown as well. It was really good. Thanks, man. Thanks. Kid is links. There's 2 dimensions links from the other one. Man, Chrono Cross is actually so good. Seems like Chrono got Jonathan Joestar treatment. I would love it a lot. The past Tales games get remastered like remake. If they would have given Final Fantasy VII the AA treatment, people would have loved it more. Yeah, I agree with that. I would have loved it. Xenosaga's cutscenes are so long that Kojima would drop his jaw. Yeah, you're right. Moji is right. Moji is right about that. They were worse than the cutscenes were worse as far as like exposition dumps and how long they are. They were worse. They were worse than Kojima's when he does Metal Gear games and Death Stranding and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They were that bad. Like the exposition dumps were that bad. And I understood what they're trying to do. Like it's too much in him and his wife's mind as far as their storytelling is concerned and what they're trying to get out there. Totally understand, but it was not executed that well, and that was like a major problem that I had with Xenosaga. It didn't feel like Xenogears. Like the mechs weren't that good like Xenogears. The combat wasn't that good like Xenogears, but the story was there. But it just lacked those other things. It was linear, very linear. The combat system wasn't good like Xenogears at all. And that's what disappointed me about Xenosaga. I was really disappointed in Xenosaga in those regards. And as I said before, the 3 episodes, out of the 3 episodes, episode 2 was garbage. Episode 2 was garbage. So Landon said, redo episode 2. The difficulty in that game was unjustified. No item stores, difficulty spikes varying in certain areas. I can go on and on, but it's a lot they need to redo. Yeah. Now, I think what they're trying to do is people are speculating because I talked about this here as well. I think when it comes to the Xeno series, especially moving forward, I think if they are going to do a remaster or like a hybrid remaster remake of the Xenosaga trilogy, I really think they're going to go in and retweak a lot of the story to try to get it to fit even more with the Xenoblade and with the Xenoblade series. And I also think if they are going to do a remake of Xenogears, whether it's a 3D remake or HD 2D remake, I think they may even go back and retweak some of Xenogears to make it fall in line with the mythology from Xenogears, Xenosaga to Xenoblade, and then whatever the next Xeno series is moving forward to connect everything together in a sense. I think that's what's going to end up happening. That's why I truly believe they're going to do that. They may even do that with Xenosaga, where they're going to go in and do a lot of retweaking as far as gameplay mechanics is concerned, visual facelift and upgrades, and also tweak some of the story to make it fall in line with Xenoblade. So is Xenoblade a prequel to Xenogears? Asking as a noob. No. All right, I'll explain it to you. Hold on to your butts. I'm gonna try to explain it the best way you can, about the best way I can. How can I? All right, so let me tell you something. The reason why Xenogears has so much it's such a cult following, it's such a cult fan base, is because Xenogears, he was like Tanaka and his wife. They were like George Lucas. They had a big story to tell with Xenogears. There's probably 6 episodes of the Xenogear series. Now you gotta remember, he worked at Square Enix before Monolith Soft was anything. He worked for Squaresoft before it became Square Enix. He worked for Squaresoft. He had a 6-episode flow chart and everything. So what happened was Xeno Gears was supposed to be a Final Fantasy VII game at first. Square looked at it and they said they looked at it and said, you know what? Nah, this is going so far left field that this is not even Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy doesn't even go this deep. So then it was supposed to be a sequel to Chrono Trigger. They turned it down too because it was like, yo, like this is too much even for a Chrono game. So he was happy because like good. He didn't want to work on Final Fantasy. He didn't even want to work on another Chrono. He didn't want to work on a Chrono game. So it was the perfect time for him to be able to work on his own IP. Square gave him a team. It was a very small team and allowed him to work on it. So he already had 6 parts in mind. But Xenogears is actually episode 5. Xenogears is episode 5. When you beat Xenogears, it even lets you know that this is episode 5. Stay tuned for episode 6. They let you know that it was an episode 5. Episode 6 is going to conclude everything. So he did a George Lucas. He started with the later trilogy first. Then the Spirits Within came. The movie, Final Fantasy Spirit Within came. The movie flopped. It fucked up Squaresoft because Enix wanted to merge with Square. But since Final Fantasy Spirits Within failed, because you gotta remember, Square Enix did so well with Final Fantasy VII, they had greenlit to develop Final Fantasy 8, 9, 10, 11, and Spirits Within all at the same time. There was no pauses. They were all in development at the same time. So they spent so much money. They were spreading their money thin, still not counting Dragon Quest games that they were working on, but they spread themselves thin because of the success of Final Fantasy VII. Then they did the movie. The movie of Final Fantasy Spirits Within was ass. It pretty much almost made them go bankrupt because all the technology, the advanced technology they used for that movie, it bombed. So right in the middle of Xenogears, Square came to them and said, said to Tanaka, like, yo, listen, that extra money that you needed and stuff like that, we had to cut your budget for the game. Because now we want to focus just on Final Fantasy for now. Is because of how bad they fucked up with the movie of Spirits Within. So he was upset. So if you haven't played Xenogears, I have to warn you, the game is 2 discs. The second disc plays differently than the first disc. And that's because they ran out of budget. And Tanaka was upset was because like, yo, how can y'all do this to me? And Square said to him, you got either cancel this game or work with the budget that you got. So disc 2 plays like a visual novel where you don't have no control. It's just all text and stuff like that, and with boss fights in between text. So it played like a visual novel. And the only time you actually had real control in the second disc is after you beat the boss before the final boss. Then you have access to the world map again, and so you can finish up any final quest that you wanted to do, level up your characters before going into the final fight. So yes, he was mad at that. And also his team that put so much passion to the Xeno series, to Xenogears, they were upset. So they left. He left because they wanted to fight. They made Final Fantasy a priority. That also means that Chrono was also on the back burner. Mana, everything suffered when everything suffered when it came to the failure of Spirits Within. The Chrono series, the Mana series. So the only thing they were focusing on was Final Fantasy. And remind you, when the failure came with Spirits Within, Enix had pulled back and said, you know what? We can't do this merger if you're about to hit bankruptcy. So Square had to hurry up and recoup their money, which now Final Fantasy 9 comes out, Final Fantasy 10 comes out, was a success, and then Final Fantasy X2. Final Fantasy X2 made so much fucking money, it really helped them out. And that's when we got the merger to finally happen. I believe that's when X2, yeah. The merger finally happened with Enix. And those two came together. So, meanwhile, Tanaka left, and his crew was like, no, we want to come with you. So he took them, and they wanted to start a new studio. So Bandai, well, there wasn't Bandai Namco yet. It was just Namco. Namco saw this as a opportunity to pull in something great because he had a good relationship with the people down at down in Namco and stuff like that. So they financed Monolith and helped finance and created Monolith Soft. Monolith Soft's like a second division to Bandai Namco. So there's like a secondary party within Bandai Namco. So they gave them the money and everything to work on Xenosaga. Now you have to remember, Xenogears is owned by Square. He couldn't take Xenogears with him. So instead, what he had to do was he had to abandon Xenogears and had to start over from scratch again and start with Xenosaga. But instead of starting at the middle or like the last end of the trilogy, now he started back at the very beginning of the trilogy, which is episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3. So he had to retell Xenogears. He had to retell them all over again. But he wouldn't be able to use certain names and certain other things because it's owned by Square. You see how all this is getting crazy? So he did Xenosaga. Now, the only problem is him and his wife worked on, I believe, Xenosaga 1. Xenosaga 1 didn't sell that well. It didn't really sell that well. People were hyped for Xenosaga, but Xenosaga did not catch on like that. Now, people love Xenosaga, and people may think that Xenosaga was like a popular series. It was not a popular series at all. Not a popular series at all. It has diehard fans. And even when I was the first one in line when Xenosaga 1 came out. I bought Xenosaga episode 1, got the game. No, my dad got the game for me. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I was disappointed in it. Not the story. I was disappointed in the gameplay. The gameplay was not as good as Xenogears at all. It was not as good as Xenogears at all. And then, as I said before, it was just a shit ton of exposition dumps. So I'm not even really playing the game. I'm more so just watching cutscenes at long drawn out cutscenes at the cutscenes, and then you have to keep up with all the lore dumps in episode 1. You have to keep up with everything. So I was really disappointed in episode 1. Episode 2, I believe, wasn't written by Tanaka and his wife. I remember it because he felt as though because of the failure of the first episode, he believed that a younger generation should come in and tell the story. So he passed it on to a younger generation. And lo and behold, episode 2 it felt even worse. It was the worst one out of the trilogy. So he had to come back and make a return for episode 3. Now, episode 3 got a little bit better, but still wasn't as good. And then he got rid of the combo system that Xenogears had, and then with episode 1 and 2 had. Now it was just a regular turn-based game. It didn't have all that extra stuff that Xenogears was known for, or even what episode 1 had. And that one failed. And the goal was to go up to episode 6 to finish off his storytelling. And because at the end of Xenosaga, you actually saw Ellie, or the first incarnation of Ellie, and you actually saw the first incarnation of Fei Fong Wong from Xenogears. You saw the little boy, because you gotta remember in Xenogears, the ship of Philadelphia had the Zoar on the ship, and the ship ended up crashing because the computer, it became self-aware, and it ended up crashing on a barren planet. And the little boy who's Fei, or he wasn't Fei, his original, what was his name? Adam? What that was his name, right? Adam. I think was it Adam? I can't remember what was Fei, the original Fei, the little boy. I can't remember his original name. Well, anyway, that little boy, you see him at the end of episode 3. So they were getting there to Xenogears at some point, but it failed. So he had to cancel. They had to cancel episodes 4, 5, and 6. So now, because of the failure, they still had a good relationship with Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco ended up letting Monolith Soft go to be their own independent studio. And now, since they're their own independent studio, Tanaka couldn't take his Xenosaga with him, which means he has to start all over again. He lost Xenogears, he lost Xenosaga. Now he don't have anything Xeno. He was about to give up on Xeno, on the Xeno series. So it wasn't until God rest his heart, Iwata from Nintendo approached him, and he wanted him to work on a JRPG for the Nintendo Wii. And the name of the RPG, they had him Tanaka had built these models of these two giants. They almost like kaiju a bit. And when he built the model, that's what gave him this idea. And he called the game the game was called Monado. That was the name of the game. But Iwata is friends with Tanaka, and he said, "Yo, how about you call the game Xeno?" And Tanaka couldn't believe that he heard it even come out of his mouth. And Iwata said, "Yo, I know how much you love the Xeno series and your passion for it. And to honor that, why don't you name the game Xeno instead of Monado?" And man, ever since that happened, he had to go back and change and retweak the entire story of Monado. And now you got Xenoblade. And that's where the birth of Xenoblade come from. Now, since he's with now it's Xenoblade, he can't take anything from Xenosaga. He can't take anything from Xenogears because they're owned by different studios. So now he has to start all over again. So now what he's doing is what he did was he's telling pieces of the episodes within, in a sense, from Xenogears and Xenosaga. Now, since he has a good relationship with Bandai Namco, he's able to work something out to even have Cosmos from Xenosaga to make a guest appearance as a guest blade in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But anyway, so if you're a fan of Xenogears and Xenosaga, you can see where he snuck in tidbits of those elements, and he had to rechange. Like, for instance, the Zoar, which is the most important thing that's in Xenogears. In Xenoblade, he can't call it the Zoar. He called it the conduit, or whatever like that. It's called the conduit, and the Trinity processor and all this other type of stuff. He had to change that stuff up. It does have some religious overtones. The Trinity processor in Xeno Blade it represents the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also, Rex is literally is Abraham, the father of many nations, because at the end, if you look at Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you have Rex had impregnated Pyra, Mithra, and what's my other girl? What's my other girl name? I can't remember the cat girl. What's that fucking name? I'm tired. Well, anyway, it'll come back to me. But he's also pretty much Abraham, the father of many nations, or like that. It's all kinds of things that you can get in there. Don't sell your creations to some dickhead corporation. They'll make sure your shit doesn't sell. They punish you. Like Maya, thanks. So I haven't played a bit of Blade. Does Zohar play in it at all? Yes, the Zohar is the Trinity processor. It plays a major role in Xenoblade, but they can't call it the Zohar. It's called the conduit or the Trinity processor that powers the conduit. So yes, they can't call it the Zohar. They call it the conduit instead. So yes, it plays a major role. So you have to understand, in Xenogears, yeah, he has a harem. He knocked up all three chicks, Pyra, Mithra, and Maya. And they surprised me at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yeah, he knocked up all three. He's pretty much Abraham, the father of many nations. That's pretty much what he is. Because of his lineage and his background and stuff like that. Now in Xenogears and Xenosaga, you have to understand there's no such thing as Earth. Earth disappeared. Earth is known as Jerusalem. They call Earth Lost Jerusalem. Earth has been missing for so many years. So in Xenogears and Xenosaga, man no longer lives on Earth. They can't even find Earth. They don't even know where Earth is. So the whole point of Xenosaga is trying to find Lost Jerusalem. They're trying to get back to the origin of everything, which is planet Earth. Now, if you play Xenoblade, which is crazy, I lost my mind after playing all three games. And like I said before, let me grab this real quick. Make sure we got everything. Like I said, I got here's the Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2 collectors. And here it is, the Zoar right here. There's the Zoar right there. The expansion pack, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the Golden Country of Torna. Love the hell out of it. It's still my favorite one of them all. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I got the DLC because they had no physical of the expansion story. So said in the beginning, the saga was that Earth had dug up the Zoar. Yeah, they found the Zoar in Africa. This Japanese guy found archaeologist, I believe it was. They found the Zoar in Africa, and it has some alien type of origin. They don't know what it is and where it came from, but it was they found it in Africa. And then what happened was years later in Xenosaga, it fast forward to the future. Now everybody's in space in different colonies because Earth is gone. What happened to Earth? Now this is the fun part. If you played Xenogears and Xenosaga, that's why at the end of Xenoblade 3 expansion pack that brings everything together, you're going to lose your mind. Is because if you played the other games, even though you don't need to play the other games to play Xenoblade, I want to remind you that because at the end of the day, they're still separate properties because Namco, Bandai Namco, and Square Enix owns the other games. So he tied them in sneakily and he did it in such a way where he's able to get around all of the legal hurdles to connect this stuff. So what happens is when you play the expansion pack of Xenoblade, matter of fact, hold up. Matter of fact, this is gonna be dope. Let me can I do that? No, that's gonna turn the lights off. Fuck. I'll see if I can find it. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. But yeah, let me explain it first. So at the end, Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 1 and 2 talks about the Trinity processor, which is the Zoar, which is Pyra. No, well, Mithra. Pyra and Mithra is one of the processors. And then you have Elvis. He's a processor. And then was it Deimos? That's his name. Which is Mithra's brother or whatever like that. He's the other processor. Now, what happens is in Xenoblade, the scientist named Klaus, they discovered the Zoar or the Trinity processor. Now, what happened is there's a war going on above the Earth because they're fighting over the Trinity processor. They're fighting over the Zoar. Klaus, he said to himself that, pretty much mankind doesn't deserve this type of technology and all this other type of stuff. He ends up activating the Zoar, which this ring is built around the Earth. And when he pressed on it, the Zoar had reshaped the universe and reshaped the reality in his image. And he didn't know he was going to do that. So Earth disappeared. And now what happened was in Xenoblade, you have these two kaijus. They're known as the Mechanis or whatever like that. So the people lives on this thing in the background or whatever. So what happens is, I'm not gonna spoil all of it or whatever like that. But now you have Shulk. Pretty much, Shulk is a walking corpse. Shulk is pretty much a walking corpse that got reanimated or his body got taken over by one of the main villains of the game. I think it was Zanza or something like that. Can't remember part 1 too much or whatever like that. Well, anyway, part 2. How is part 2 connected to part 1? Well, come to find out, Klaus is still alive. Klaus is pretty much the father of this brand new universe that he created by accident when he activated it, the Zoar. Now, what happened was Zoar had wiped out all mankind. So now he's essentially God now. He had to rebuild man in his own image. Rex heard stories of Elysium. This is like a fairy tale story. When you find out, which was crazy, when you find out what Elysium is pretty much that spaceship or pretty much our Earth, where Earth used to be, or before it was wiped out and shit like that. So the people like Rex and them, they're not even human. They were created in Klaus's image. They evolved from Titans, and Titans become humans. It's all kind. I mean, when I say it's nutty, that shit is fucking nutty. But it was a good fucking game. So what happened is they meet the father, who is essentially God. So he created the Trinity processor, which is his children, which is I think his name, I can't remember, was it Deimos, whatever his name is, Elvis, Deimos, and you got the then you got Pyra and Mithra, which Pyra and Mithra are the same people. It's just Pyra is a split personality of Mithra. Mithra is the original. Pyra is the made up personality or whatever. So you have Mithra, Deimos, I think his name, and then you have he said, anyway, boys, the Switch 2 might be a bitch to get. VK Chapter 1. He said, but you know what? Won't be a bitch to get VK Chapter 1, and that's a subtle thing. Thanks, Chloe. Yeah, so yeah. So what's going on is, this is the crazy part. You meet the father at Elysium, right? Which is actually Klaus, who we thought disappeared. So he's sitting there, and what happens is he's split in half. One half of him is in another dimension, and the other half is talking to Rex and them, right? Now check this out. This is crazy. Malos. Yeah, that's it. Malos. Thanks, gamer. His name is Malos. I don't know why I keep mixing his fucking name up. So what happened is he's split in half. One half is in another dimension. And guess what that other dimension is? That other dimension is Xenoblade Chronicles 1. So what's going on is the other half is fighting Shulk in them. The final boss that you're fighting is the other half of him. So Rex and his team is fighting the final boss, and then Shulk and his team is fighting the final boss. It's all going on at the same time. It's a different universe, but they're all connected together. And while you're talking to the father, you hear Shulk in them. You hear echoes of Shulk in them. And if you play Xenoblade Chronicles 1, you know the exact scene because you know the dialogue. Bro, I was losing my mind. I said, yo, so this is connected. But there's more. So at the end, he wanted, the father was telling him that you have to stop Malos, because Malos is a Trinity processor that's going rogue. So Mithra and them have to stop him. After you stop him, it's up for mankind to set their own path. So all the Titans in the air finally comes down, and they start to create the lands, the land, because everybody lives in the sky. Now it hits the ocean, and now lands are formed. And Rex had to make a decision, a choice and stuff. And you never knew what that. So you thought Pyra and Mithra died, but at the end, Pyra and Mithra, they came back, and then like the party, you never hear what happened to them ever again. They just live happily ever after. But then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 happens, and if you seen the trailer and you saw my reaction, I was fucking hyped, because if you played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, the reason why you hype is because you see a war going on. You have one side that looks like Xenoblade Chronicles 1's like characters and lore and elements, and then you see the other side that looks like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I said, what's going on? I said, don't tell me that the worlds merged. Now, to not get into all of it, to get around all this stuff, by the time you get to the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 with the expansion pack or whatever like that, you find out at the end, that both the worlds were trying to merge together, because both the worlds remember what it was like to be one Earth again. So that was going on in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But the problem is, when these worlds form, it's going to erase everybody, and it's going to bring chaos. So both the queens from both Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 came up with a computer called Origin to pretty much to save everybody's memory in the cloud. So when the worlds merge, the computer would activate and bring and restore all the saved data of everybody and bring them back to life or whatever. But it didn't happen that way. Something happened, which I won't explain. You have to play it yourself. But at the end of the day, By the time you finish the expansion pack that closes up, that brings everything full circle, you got an introduction. They get a flashback. You get sent to a flashback. The cast members of Part 3 of Xenoblade are sent to planet Earth before Earth was gone. And that's when you hear this radio. This radio is playing, and it has the logo of one of the corporations from Xenosaga. And then it mentions characters from Xenosaga. And then it mentions the ship of Philadelphia that Faye from Xenogears was on before it took off of planet Earth. I was like, yo. I said, yo, how in the world he did this? He's going to connect all this shit together. So then at the very end, both parallel Earths from Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 finally merge, right? And when it merged, guess what happened? When it finally merged, you see this twinkle in the sky in space making its way to planet Earth. And I said, no, it better not be who I think it is. And who am I referring to? I'm referring to Cosmos from Xenosaga. Why do I believe this? And many fans within the community also believe this. Why? Think about it for a second. Remember I told you in Xenogears and Xenosaga that planet Earth was going? Remember when I told you that? No one knows where planet Earth is at. It's been going for thousands of years, and they called it Lost Jerusalem. Now, remember when I told you in Xenosaga, in Xenoblade, where Klaus had activated the conduit, aka the Zoar, and then Earth had disappeared, and it actually went to different realities. And then by the end of Xenoblade, the two different realities of Earth come together, and now Earth reappears. Remember, what if the reason why Earth couldn't be found and it was named Lost Jerusalem because of Klaus? What if that is the case? So now Lost Jerusalem is back. And the reason why I'm saying that sky, the star in space that's coming to Earth, is Cosmos, and which people believe is Cosmos, because if you play Xenosaga Episode 3, Cosmos sacrificed herself. Shion and the other team, they're on their way looking for Lost Jerusalem. After she make her sacrifice and her limbs blow off, the only thing that's left is her torso and her head, her upper body and stuff. Her body's floating in space. And while it's floating in space, suddenly Earth appears. And when Earth appears, there's Lost Jerusalem, and her body's floating towards it. So now all these years later, he makes Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, and at the end of Xenoblade 3, both Earths come together and reform, and the original Earth come back. You see this star from the sky heading to Earth. Only logical reason you would make that has to be Cosmos. Crazy. That is crazy, bro. It's crazy. He said the Bible, the anime. Yeah, pretty much. Kind of working on the Xenoblade games 1, 2, and 3, and Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming. I'm picking that up too. This is why I love JRE. Yup, this dude put it together. Like he was able to get around all. He was able to get around all the fucking legal nightmares it would have been. He got around all that and was able to plug all that in. That's crazy. So now he can continue to tell his story. And also, some of the characters resemble characters from Xenogears. Like if you played the final DLC or whatever of Xenosaga Episode 3, you play the final DLC. Vandam, the character, he resembles Faye. He fights with his fist. He does martial arts like Faye, and he got the long ponytail like Faye. It's crazy. He's able to bring all that shit together. Fully wide flipping idea on his head is the direction you're going. This is I like that. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, like I can't spoil my Venus Orion Comics universe, but when I say I'm flipping shit on his head with the Venus Orion Comics universe, the Xeno series is the inspiration of how you want to see my universe and how you want to see how the universe was designed. And when you get a chance to meet these characters, and like I said, There's gonna be a lot of characters which you already seen that take biblical names like Hezekiah, Isaiah Draben, and also Caleb Draben. There's gonna be a lot of biblical names. There's gonna be biblical references that you want to find in my universe. And like I said, I'm not gonna spoil anything. There's a lot that you're gonna discover in the Venus Orion Comics universe, and a lot of that inspiration um came from the Xeno series. I'm flipping like one. I can't wait till you guys as you read the different comic book series. And like I said, each comic book series is going to introduce different world building elements that's going to give you the bigger picture of my universe and stuff. And you be like, oh shit, this is crazy. Like, all right, this is where he's trying to do. This is where he's going with this and stuff like that. So that's why I can't spoil too much, and I only give hints to certain things. But you want to see why as you read. Say, damn, I definitely see some inspiration from the Xeno series in Venus Orion Comics. That's why it's important that you read VK too, because VK is a lot of heavy world building elements in VK. And then when the spinoff of the Church of Elohim come out, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that you want to get from there. And the Die Star champion Siona, you want to get a bit of information too, as far as the universe is concerned. And wait until you meet Madame Cosmos. Madame Cosmos opens the floodgates to a lot of the stuff. And then also when we get to the cosmic part of my universe, when you get introduced to Lazarus and Princess Adex, you're going to get another portion big reveals and information about the universe itself. Out of curiosity, do we know how Xenoblade Chronicles X doesn't fit at all? It doesn't fit. It's its own thing. Now, I would say this. They are adding new story to the definitive edition. And because they're adding new story to the definitive edition, there could be a possibility that it now may connect. But before we get this new story, no, it didn't connect at all. You can't fit it nowhere. You can't fit Xenoblade Chronicles X nowhere. It's like a retell. It's like a whole totally different thing. If you connect it, Super Balls from X. Yeah, so yeah, it could. Like with this, I keep forgetting about Future Connected. So yes, now we got to look at now we have to look, because like I said, we are talking about parallel universes in the Xeno series. We have to wait and see once we start seeing the new story parts and the new story characters to the definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles X. So with that, then we'll be able to tell how it all connects. It's all about that DLC. It's all about that extra story. Because I was like, when I seen Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and when I ended it, I was kind of disappointed in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Because I said, how does this close out the arc? How does this close out Xenoblade? Like, it leaves more questions than answer. But once the DLC came out, and it showed how it brought everything together, and then it left open for you to speculate that, yo, this is getting crazy. Like, now I'm looking forward to see where this story is going next. So you're craving for more. So now that we're getting this, who knows? It may now connect because of what we're seeing that's being connected now. He said a Freudian slip. Oh, world. Is that the X didn't fit at all? It could be wrong though. I was hyped for views on but now I see things are going to be crazy. Yeah. So it's all about my execution. Like I said, I'm new to this, so it's all about my execution. I just hope you guys be patient with me. It's my first time writing something or whatever like that. So yeah, I'm gonna be learning as a writer as I'm putting out these stories, putting out these comics. And also too, I will be doing world building comics. That's gonna be like slice of life. That's going to follow characters who are like regular people, but they're gonna be essential to the universe. They will show you what is other aspects of my universe, and those comics are going to be I'll be producing those as like free page, like free comics that I'll release a page or two, every month or so in the future. And then eventually I will release a physical version which you can purchase or whatever like that with extra content in it. So I have two series. I have two series that's coming out. It's called the Galexis Report, where it's going to be like news reporters called the Galexis from the Galexis News, and they're going to be giving you news reports on things that's happening around the world, and it's also going to build onto the world, and it's going to be like pages, like a page here, a page there, and they're going to be free for you guys to read or whatever like that. Or no, how do I say it? They'll be I wouldn't say free. It'd be like on a Patreon, which is $1. You have $1 access to it and stuff. So that helps with that. So $1 access to it and stuff like that. And you'll be able to get you will get those pages or whatever like that. And that will world build. And then the other one is called Sindel High or Rendell High. Rendell High would be Rendell Heights. Rendell Heights is gonna be like a slice of life. It's gonna follow these teenagers, and they're all best friends and stuff like that. And they go to this high school together, and you'll be able to see, through their eyes, how they see the world and stuff like that. And it's gonna be a slice of life. Gonna be some fun characters and stuff like that. And I'll put out a page or two or whatever like that, like every month or whatever like that. When I get around to the Patreon and stuff like that, and the website comes up, so you'll be able to have access to that stuff. So while you're waiting for my comic book series, you will be able to get a deep dive into the world itself through these characters and other characters and stuff like that. Let me see. Let me get to tell you the truth. Second, implementing weapons now. There's no need for Soul Calibur 7. Sorry, Mugen. I was trying to say that Xenoblade Chronicles 4 will be a new entry. Now I'm playing through Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 4. No, Xenoblade Chronicles 4, Tanaka said it's Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 closes the Klaus arc. But it's going to be a new entry, but it's still going to build off of the previous. It's still going to be off the previous. And we still don't even know it's going to be Xenoblade Chronicles. It could be just a new Xeno game, but it still builds off of Blade. Now, what they could possibly do is continue Xenoblade, because Xenoblade is a recognizable name. They could still make another Xeno game like that still builds off of the Xeno lore itself. So, oh yeah, I have a question about that for the next interview. So yeah, you got a genuine vision. Even if you slip up, I'm still ready to invest in video and kind of see what the story comes up with. Yeah, man, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to try to create a cohesive story and stuff like that. Story writing is not easy. Like it's different. It's easy to criticize stories. It's easy to rip it apart, tear it apart, and it's a whole different story when you start to write them yourself or whatever like that. Especially when you're trying to figure out the voices of the characters and how you want them to behave. And you always got to consider how this character react in a situation like this. And what is your main focus? What are you trying to build up to? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of that stuff, because you like the thing is, you can have ideas. The problem is not having ideas. The problem is how to execute it and how you can get it to make sense and stuff like that. So this is my first time doing this and everything. And it's like, the fun part about it is when you read VK and read other books, it starts out one way and you get to understand, oh man, I'm getting to understand of this. And then as you start getting deeper and through the chapters and stuff like that, as they release, you're gonna start seeing the twist. You're gonna start seeing some of these elements flip itself on its head. And you're like, damn, it started out like this, but now it got to this. Like, where did that come from? You know what I'm saying? So that's the plan. And like I said, I've been working on it for years. You know what I'm saying? And I've been thinking about this for years. I've been constantly refining it for years and stuff. And the good thing about it is, even though I have these ideas, and since these ideas haven't been released yet, I can still always go back and refine them. I can go back and retroactively change things, refine things, and stuff like that, since they haven't been released yet or whatever like that. So that's the good thing. Like, perfect example, chapter one. Chapter 1 is out, but there's still things I can still do before chapter 2 come out. There's still things I can refine, still things I can tweak and stuff like that. As I put this stuff out. And Toriyama and Tanaka, the creator behind the Xeno series, and many of these other developers and writers have really inspired me. Like, especially Toriyama. That's why I said to myself, then there's no excuse. There's no excuse why I can't try to write and produce a story when you got Toriyama, where you look at Toriyama when he talks, and I love Toriyama's Dragon Ball series and his works. But when you hear his stories and how certain things came to be in Dragon Ball, a lot of it was it was due under pressure from his publishers, where he had to keep constantly making up shit on the fly and changing shit on the fly because of his publishers and stuff like that. And he ended up creating some of the most recognizable franchises and series and lovable characters of all time, which is the Dragon Ball series. You know what I'm saying? When I look at that, I said, yo, this dude created legacy. And most of it was just him coming up with shit on the fly and stuff. So I say, if this man can do this, why can't I sit down and and start creating stories of my own and just give it a try? You know what I'm saying? I look at the creator of Bleach, and with his story writing and how he comes up with stuff and ideas and how things change in the middle of development, or why he's right, or why they write and stuff, things change and stuff like that. So I say, if they can do it, then why can't I give it a try? Why can I at least make an attempt to try it? Business get huge. Will you strive to get license deals for crossovers such as Near? Bro, I would love that. Like I said, my dream is to have Venus Orion comic, VOC. My dream is to have Venus Orion Comics versus Capcom. I would love that. Actual fighting game, tag fighting game, where you can switch back and forth, or Venus Orion Comics versus Arc System Works. Or I would love Arc System Works to develop, have my IP and make a fighting game like how they did Dragon Ball and Dungeon Fighters and stuff like that. I would love Arc System to use their Arc System style to create a fighting game with my properties. I would love that. And of course, I'll be on board after, and stuff with the creative process and stuff. So I concur. Writing stories and making sure it fits and makes sense can be a difficult process. Very difficult. Very difficult. And here's another thing too. The fun part about writing is when you have so many great ideas. The only problem is with new writers, even including myself. I had a hard time when I first started writing VK and other things, where I had so many ideas, right? I'm trying to cram all these ideas into one property, or try to cram all these ideas into one arc or something like that. And when you look at these ideas can be standalone arcs or standalone ideas for other properties or whatever like that. And that's the hard part, because you get so excited and you feel so, no, I don't want to leave this out because this is a good idea. But not every idea that you like doesn't mean that it's automatically is going to be cohesive or connect together. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to cut certain things out and then save those ideas for other things, or inject it into other properties and stuff like that. Because when I first started VK or whatever like that, I had so many ideas, and I'm like, yo, I want to put this in here. I want to put that in here. Then the writing got even harder, because now I had to factor in all these ideas that I had or whatever like that. And then when you start putting in this idea, it's okay, but then this will, I wouldn't say contradict, but this wouldn't match well now that I'm fleshing this stuff out. So no, I'm going to cut this. And then now I start feeling bad. I was like, but I don't really want to cut this. Then I thought about it. I said, no, this can be for something else. I can use this for something else and put this into another property, or making its own identity to itself and stuff like that. So that's the wonders and also the hard part, because when you love writing and coming up with ideas for things, sometimes you can't fit it all. You have to you can't jam it and cram it all in one thing, because then you're going to have a hodgepodge. And as a reader, you're going to start reading it and you're going to start seeing it all over the place, because it's doing one thing and it's doing another thing, and it's not cohesive. It's not concentrated. Unhinged JRPG lore again. Yeah. It definitely will be, but it's going to take time before it gets to that. Right now, you're going to get into the surface levels of things, getting to understand characters and stuff like that before you get into when you get up to that curve. That, like I said, like, I'm so frustrated that you guys won't be able to see this stuff for a minute, like, because I got to get to that point. Like, that's the crazy part about it. He says, sound kind of like me. Yeah, sometimes you need a good team. If you got two writers who really understand the characters, you're gold, in my opinion. Again, don't let corpos have your creations. Exactly. It's been a year since his passing. Time short flying by. If it happens, I want to see Bayonetta 2B and Eve together in your comic. That would be awesome. That would be fucking awesome, bro. That would be such a fucking honor. That's I had so much old season concepts and I just get lost in it. So I had to take a step back and consolidate and make new things. That's why I got so many IP concepts. Yeah, I got so many IP concepts, so many different IPs, man. I made over 50 OC. Yeah, I got 100 characters. I got over, no, it's over 100 now. Since I got new characters made up right now. Got over 100 characters, 100 original characters in my Venus Orion Comics universe, and still growing. Yeah, you got to balance the info dumping and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm spacing all it out. The first arc to VK, as I said before, how I'm approaching it, as I said, each chapter you're going to be given piece by piece surface level knowledge of my mechanics, such like the wave force mechanics and stuff like that. You get that. You will also get an understanding of how Isaiah Draven Keos, how his abilities work. You're going to get an understanding of how Strike's abilities work and stuff like that. You'll get a surface level of the different vampire classes and hierarchies. You're going to get surface level. Each chapter you're going to get surface levels, and then once we get to arc 2, we're going to get deeper and deeper because I want to hit you with so much exposition and stuff like that, because that's where people get lost or it becomes a chore to read when you're trying to throw in all this stuff. Then, like I said, chapter 2, you're gonna get a lot more action in chapter 2, because in order to describe how Keo and Striker them work, you got to see them in action. You're going to get introduced to Detective Bertelli and Danvers and their motivations and why they're doing what they're doing. Also, you will get more of Tech Lock's personality, especially in chapter 2 as well. Because like I said, chapter 1 is just an introduction. You're gonna get chapter 1. You're gonna get young Rav's Hezekiah Draven's motivations, why he's behaving the way he's behaving. You get all that in chapter 1. That's the main focus. The main focus is about Hezekiah Draven. You're gonna get how you're gonna get why he's behaving the way he's behaving and why he's motivated to do what he's doing. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that surface level of that. So it's an introduction to his character and stuff. But chapter 2, that's when we start actually going to start getting into the nitty gritty of things and stuff like that. Chapter 3, you're going to be introduced to critical arts. This is where that's where you'll start understanding what critical arts. You're going to get the surface level of what critical arts and cognitive arts. You're going to get both of those in chapter 3, and you also get an introduction to Varian Keller's powers. You get an introduction to Varian Keller in chapter 2, but you won't see him get grit down and dirty until chapter 3 or whatever like that, and how his powers work and everything. All right, good question. I said, go ahead. Let's build up to the JRPG. It will be crazy as fuck if you see it fold in real time. I hope writing. I said I love writing, but cannot do art worth a crap since I quit middle school. But I have tons of ideas, like doing things with gods and universe and creation and myths. That's dope. He said, will there be gender swap characters in your universe? That's a good question. I can't spoil. I won't say that there's a multiverse, and this is why I can't spoil it, because we never get into dangerous territories. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say there's gender swap versions of my characters. Yeah, how can I explain this without spoiling shit? Because this is a lot of critical shit. You have to wait and see. You're gonna have to wait and see. Because I say Madame Cosmos is important. When I say Madame Cosmos is important to the universe itself, you're gonna see what I'm getting at as we start going through each of these different series and getting into some of these chapters. You're gonna see where I'm getting at. So as far as gender swap is concerned, I can't really answer that. I can't answer that. I can't answer that because it's more to it. It's more to it. So I stopped drawing elementary. I hate myself for it. Carrots and shit. So I understand having to build this wild stuff. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. Using Type 0 as an example, imagine diving into the whole right the gate right away. It'd be madness. Yeah, you'll be lost, confused, frustrated. So I hate myself for it as well. I just don't. Then just wait and see it's a good policy. Yeah, yeah. I also want to be like, I know there's a lot of other people out there that gets frustrated because some people are reading certain comics right now, like in the indie space, where some people are frustrated, saying like, "Damn, like I don't understand this, whatever like that." This person and the creator won't explain, won't even give us an explanation of this and stuff like that. So I don't want to be that type of. I don't want to be that type of creator. I do want to give you enough, but at the same time, like there's some critical parts. So as far as like the gender swapping of characters, like a multiverse type of thing, like I can't really get into any of that type of stuff. Really can't get into any of that because there's a big twist. There's a lot of other things that goes into all this type of stuff in my universe and whatever. So, but you have to wait and see, and hopefully, you'll be able to get some hints of that sooner rather than later. But it all depends on how I execute it, and it depends on the funds. It's all the stuff costs money. A lot of this stuff costs money, and I wish I was rich, and that's why I'm praying to God that this thing does Venus Ryan Comics does become successful, that I'm able to get so many other things created and content and material for you guys, so you guys can be able to dive into it. Because yes, there will be free material for other people to dive into to get people started and wanting to people to get to know the universe, and then eventually like, hey, all right, I want to buy it, I want to get into this, I want to buy this. And of course, digital comics will always be $5, so you will always be able to get into my universe for less than less than a McDonald's meal. So you'll always have a chance to get into the universe and get in the try. Because I mean, it doesn't hurt. The $5 doesn't really cost much at all. You know what I'm saying? So you always have a chance through digital. And I'm always gonna be doing physical, but if you don't want to go out the physical route because of money, if money is tight, there's always digital $5. You know what I'm saying? So you're able to always go in for $5 and give the Venus Ryan Comics universe a try and stuff like that. So I think that's the I think that's the beauty. I think that's the wonders of that as well. You said no, right? He said I have so many fan fiction stories running in my head every day. I want to write it out, but figure out, bro. There's no such thing as writer's block when you got Chat GPT AI. Chat GPT AI. There's a YouTuber. There's Code J Man, one of my young bulls, who's also a viewer. His YouTube channel is even more successful because he came to me and said, "Dude, I have writer's block. I have an idea for something, but I'm stuck with this script." And I introduced him to Chat GPT. I got the full version of it, and he ended up paying for the full version. And AI is a great tool. When you have ideas, you come up with these ideas, and then once you come up with these ideas, Chat GPT and AI will organize your ideas. It will also give you suggestions. It will also help you flesh out. And what happens is the AI can only provide assistance by the information you give it. So it's still your ideas. It's still your information. It can't help you if it has nothing to go off of. So you still have to write stuff. So when you get into those situations where you have writer block, talk to the AI, talk to Chat GPT. When you talk to it and stuff like that, and say, "Hey, I'm stuck on this. I came up with this, that, and the third." You still have to teach it. You still have to share what you have written and stuff like that. So it has something to work with. And when it looks at it and it says, "Oh man, that you wrote you have this character, that character, and stuff." Well, how about this? You said this right here, but then how about you do it this, and how about that? Or you forgot about that. You mentioned this. You totally left this out. You can incorporate this and do this, that, and the other. AI is a perfect tool. Perfect tool. There's no such thing as writer block when you got AI to help assist with that. Wish I was rich just so I can create shit without worrying about funds. Yeah, man. Yeah. So if I had the money, if I was rich, if I was rich, dude, like I would be doing Venus Ryan Comics all day. Yeah, I'll talk about some video games here and there. I would just do Venus Ryan Comics all day. Yeah, I'm telling you, use Chat GPT. If you got writer's block, like I said, go to Chat GPT. Whatever you have written down, explain to it, "Hey, this is what I've written, and I'm stuck because I can't figure out this, that, and third, or man, like I want this to happen, but then it's gonna make a plot. Now it's gonna create a plot hole, or hey, I'm stuck at this point because I can't figure out how I want this to connect with this. And since you already gave it the information, you taught it what you have written, it can help you with that. It can help you with that. Give it a try. Give Chat G or Grok or Chat GPT. Give it a try. I'm telling you that right now. Rich, the first thing you do is get Venus Ryan fighting arcade game cabinet. Now, if I was rich, like I said before, the cheapest route to go to get people interested is comics. It's cheaper than trying to do video games. Video games cost a shit ton of money. Now, I'll tell you one thing: when I do start Venus Orion Game Studios, I will be crowdfunding for my games. I will build a prototype first. I would have which will come out of my pocket first. But to get the game fully developed, I like to crowdfund my games at first. Don't do that to me. Like, what would you do with 100 million? Bro, do not say that to me. Do not say that to me. Because for starters, what's up, Christian? This was my plan a long time ago. My plan was, like I told you, my dad's a contractor. My dad's a carpenter. We own about we own 4 houses or 5 houses. We own like 4 or 5 houses. So my dad's getting me into real estate because I want to eventually get my own house and everything like that. So my goal is if I had 100 million, don't do this. Don't do that to me. Because for starters, my goal is I would buy a building or buy a house. I would buy an apartment. I will buy a house that I will own. That will be actual apartments. And what I would do is the bottom floor would be Venus Orion Comics. The bottom floor would be Venus Orion Comics. And then the top floor, the top floor will be my tenants where I'm collecting rent from. And then the third floor would be my artists. My artists would live there. And guess what? My artists wouldn't have to pay no rent. They work for me because the rent for my tenant, because I'm gonna have more than one property, because I'm gonna have another house. I'm gonna have other properties where I'm always constantly collecting rent. So to take pressure off my artists, they don't have to pay no rent. No rent. All they have to worry about is their gas, paying their electric and stuff like that. But they don't have to worry about no rent. They'll live on the third floor. And when I talk about my artists, I'm talking about getting my artist Jessica, moving her ass down here, get a work visa, have her ass work down there. Of course, she can still do commissions for other people and stuff like that. I know there's other commissions she like to do, but I have another artist that I'm trying to reach back out to that I worked with a long time ago. He's from Malaysia. I would get him a work visa, have his ass come down here, live up on the third floor, and like I said, get a bunch of artists. If I had 100 million, dude, like, bro, it's time to go to work. So I have my artists on the third floor. I'm already collecting rent from the second floor from my tenants on the second floor. My artists don't live on the third floor. Venus Orion Comics Studios at the bottom floor, or whatever like that, where I do all my business and everything like that. Have the meetings with the artists and stuff like that and everything. They don't have the pressure of paying rent. They don't have none of that pressure. Plus, I'll have other property that's going to finance. That's why I don't have to worry about them paying rent, because I have other places financing that with no problem. So I'm getting income from other sources and stuff like that. So I don't want no stress on them that they have to make sure that they meet rent and stuff like that. I don't need them to have that type of stress. I just need them fully concentrated and fully focused so we can go out here and make some money. So we can go out here and put some comics out there, go out there and get Venus Orion Comics where it needs to be. So that will be my strategy if I had like $100 million. And then of course, also, I wouldn't even get a warehouse right away. I would not spend that much money on a warehouse. I would continue to work with distributors to print off my stuff and everything like that for the time being. And the thing is, I would have to build my way up. To that status. You can't go out the gate going straight out warehouse, all this different type of stuff. No, I have to build up to that. So for the time being, I would have, I'll have working relationships with businesses to help print off my books. My brothers and them already got a t-shirt business and stuff, so they will be working on they'll be doing my production of my merchandise and stuff like that. I have nothing to worry about that and everything. But I would definitely need my artists to be able to focus and be able to concentrate and stuff like that, and everything. So that'll be the good thing about it. And plus, marketing. A good portion to be a good portion of that would be into my marketing Venus Orion Comics, be able to produce more than one comic at one time. So I have one team working on this comic series. And plus, like I said, I'll have an artist working on their on comics and whatever like that, which means Jessica, she's in charge of VK. It's always gonna be one artist per series. So it has consistency and flow. There will never be a different artist for a different chapter. No, there's gonna be one artist for for these chapters. So Jessica, my original artist, she's gonna be working on VK and she's gonna be doing Alter Squad X. Those are the two that she's gonna be working on. Now I'll be looking for somebody else to do Siona. Now the thing about when I got Jessica Chabibit, my artist, I always get her to do the main design for the character. So the main design for the character is already done. So when the artist, whoever I hire is the new of an artist to be the artist of that series, the character's already designed already, and all you do is draw the character in their style or whatever like that. Yeah, very on heights. The very viewers around heights. I would create an entertainment studio that true fans work is the rent and pay. Exactly, work is the rent and pay for the utility. It pays for utilities. Exactly. My art studio work as a club. You will pay monthly fee to use all the tools. Yeah, yeah. It's like a rent. Yeah. Said Mugen creating an empire with him as the big boss. I'll call you Boss Mugen. Have her ass work down there? Oh, Mugen. Yeah. Yeah, her ass like Jessica. Her ass gonna be coming down here, and she'll come down here. I'm trying to get Jason Chang to come down. Try to get him to come down, and I'm looking for like talented artists, and then have them live on the third floor. And they work for me, and I will make sure they paid well. I'm gonna make sure of that. I'm gonna make sure that they paid well and stuff like that. And it's time to make some comics, trying to be successful and stuff. That's my dream. So if I had $100 million, man, bro, like it, like from that point, Venus Orion Comics would be my main priority. Everything else comes secondary. My like Mugen TV comes secondary. Everything else, my 3D hentai stuff, that becomes secondary. Venus Orion Comics would be my primary thing. I'm building Venus Orion Comics up because someday my daughter is going to take over. I'm getting my daughter prepared for that. So this is not all for me, man. This is to be passed down, generational wealth, and passes down to my daughter and stuff like that. So, and until I get a son, because I want more kids, which I will have more kids. Once I get a son, then my daughter will prep him up, as he gets older, and prep it so she can hand it to him and stuff like that. So that's how it worked. But yeah, man, like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this. But yes. So Friday, as I said before, Friday I will be putting out the digital comics. So from Friday to Sunday, the weekend, expect your digital comics. There's a lot of emails I have to send this stuff out to, and make sure everything's sent out correctly and stuff. So it's gonna take over the weekend to make sure that everybody gets it. So hopefully you guys will read. For those of you who backed it and stuff, hopefully you guys who read it will read it over the weekend, and hopefully on Monday we can actually start talking about the chapter. Like it's me Plaza, like drag her all the way over to America and plop her down in Venus Orion Heights. Yeah. Hell yeah, Mugen. That's the way I am making mine for my little sister and niece and nephew. I have no kids yet. Yeah, man. Like that's how it is, man. It's all for my daughter, man. Will your descendants follow your blueprint that you establish? I will hope my kids, like my descendants. That's the whole point of Venus Orion Comics. I wanted to be a Venus Orion Comics, which is going to be a Venus Orion Games, and then of course Venus Orion Animation Studio. So I'm gonna have a lot of things. I'm gonna have a whole lot of stuff. So the goal is to have my descendants. Like I want Venus Orion Comics. I want my characters to be etched into history. into pop culture history. Like my whole dream is like one day, how you go into like anime conventions and you see those big ass banners of maybe like Batman, Superman, or maybe Naruto or Goku. Man, I want Venus Orion Comics to be like that, where you come in, you go into like a one of the convention halls, you go into like the convention, and you see that big banner of Hezekiah Draven or Siona the Die Star Champion or Princess Adex or Lazarus or Rupture or the Great Samaritan and stuff like that. Like that would be fucking awesome to see those things. And then action figures. I can't wait to have action figures and collectible figurines and stuff that fans will be able to collect and stuff. Also too, when I launch my website, man, hopefully you guys come through. Like when I do my opening and you guys come through and swipe some of the merchandise. I'll do like a $5. I'll do like some discounts on the items, for the day of launch. For people to come through and actually buy some stuff and in celebration of the launch of Venus Orion Comics website and stuff like that. Once fulfillment of chapter 1 is at 90%, and then you'll be able to purchase it. I'll have chapter 1 available on the website. I'll have chapter 1 available on the website for you to purchase. You'll be able to purchase the physical, and you'll be able to purchase the digital. Now, when it comes to the pre-order campaigns, the physical and digital is only for when you buy the physical, the digital will come with it when we do pre-order campaigns. But when you go to the store, those are separate. If you buy the physical, you only get the physical. If you buy the digital, you only get the digital on the website. But when it comes to the campaigns itself, those are the incentives to do pre-orders, because you can be able to get both. If you buy the physical, you'll be able to get the digital. But when the store comes out, those will be separate items. You either get the physical or the digital, or you want to buy both. Oh, what's up, Jalen? Same, I want my kid to take over my business, Karen. The West needs more passionate hustlers with a vision and not bean counters and pander bears. Yeah, man. So that's my dream when it comes to all this. But yeah, so for those of you guys who backed the pre-order campaign, as I said before, stay tuned Friday and the weekend and check your emails by that time. To see if you get to see if you got your chapter 1s and stuff like that. And as I said before, those who missed out, like I said, I won't be printing these ever again. So if you missed out on these, you won't be able to get these at all. I got some people who ordered eight of like copies, like 8 copies of all 4. Like they got like 2 copies of all 4. They got double, so they got all 4 covers twice because they want to be able to hold on to them and whatever like that, and then read them and stuff. And also, since these are rare covers, these will go up in value over time. Because you won't be able to get these anywhere. So it creates a secondary market for those who are looking to, maybe want to trade or do eBay or whatever people try to do with the secondary market and stuff. But yeah, so these covers are gone. You won't be able to get these. And these will always happen for campaigns when I do cover A, B, C, and D. Cover A, B, C, and D will always be for campaigns. And then at the end of the campaign, the only cover that will be reprinted is cover A, but the store will have its own special cover. So cover A will be available at the store, and and then the store will have a cover. So it'll be a store cover and cover A. And then of course, the convention will have a cover, a special cover that's only exclusive to when you go to the convention and you happen to see me and want to make a purchase or whatever like that. So there will be cover A, a store cover, cover A, and a convention cover. Ever thought about reprints? It's 1 second. So I love creation. Not that I don't want to make money, but I want the creation to come first. Just to double check if answered the survey thing, that should be all I need, right? I remember you saying it. Yeah, the thing is when answering the survey is to make sure, like if you bought a shirt, the survey is to ask you if for that tier that has a shirt, it asks you, it needs to know what size shirt. If you got a tier where it requires you to pick a cover, like one of the tiers asks you, hey, you can either pick cover B or cover C. or whatever like that with this tier, along with whatever merchandise it is. You would have to answer the survey. Which cover did you want it, C or D? And then the other ones I asked for everybody in the survey is to give me your email address, because if you bought a book, you get a digital. I need your email. Even though I have your email address, there's some people who don't use their real email address when they sign up for stuff. So if it's not your real email address or whatever like that, then I will end up sending it to the wrong email address. You may not even know that you got it. And I need your home address and stuff, which I found out that Kickstarter actually collects your home address or whatever like that. So I need that information so I can mail your shit to the right place. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the surveys are important. I need to make sure everything is correct before sending this shit out or whatever. And plus, if you don't answer it or whatever like that, not if you don't answer it has to confirm so they can pull the money out and all this different type of stuff. But yes, he said, facts, bro. The West is 100% cooked. What games are you looking forward to that's coming out this year from Nintendo, Sony? I'm just looking forward to the Nintendo Switch 2 as far as I see you next stream. And reprints of these, no. Like I said, I'm a person of my word. If I told the fans and told people who actually came and backed this, and I told them that, hey, these are special prints, and because you guys backed this above like that, and you earned this, you came in, you backed it, you guys deserve to have these as rare prints above like that. You guys went out and supported this, so it's exclusive. This is an exclusive, so I would never reprint these, because like I said, there's some people that's actually pissed off. Because there's people that was actually pissed off at who is a couple people, there's a couple indie people I know, but one example, there was people that was pissed at Eric July, who said that, hey, these covers won't be available, this, that, and the third, and then it ended up being available sometime later and stuff like that. Or then he ended up reducing the sale down to $5 and stuff like that. And everything. So a lot of the fans, people felt cheated, people felt robbed, people felt scammed, and people were really angry and upset. And some people just walked away from it because of that. So if I tell you guys that, hey, you won't get these again, I mean it. And that's out of respect for the people who actually came in and backed it day one and stuff like that. And I don't want to do that to those who actually went out and supported me, and then turn around and then make it available again after I told these people. And then people were like, wait a minute, then why did I go out and get these covers? Because I got them because I thought they were going to be rare. I could have just got cover A, or I could have just went digital. And that's the reason. That's why I went out and grabbed these, because you said these were rare. And then you just turn around and you reprint them again. So I don't want to be that type of person. I want to be transparent with you guys and be straight up with you guys. I want you guys to be able to trust me. I want your trust is more important to me than anything when it comes to running a company, period, running Venus Ryan Comics or whatever like that. That's why even with the Kickstarter, I'm always going to update you guys of what's going on, which update is coming Friday about, the comic book being delayed to next week as far as the books coming to my house. But the keychains came this week. And as I said before, I'm putting an update letting you guys know that Friday in the weekend, you will get your digital comics first or like that. And when the books get here, the first 3 covers get here Tuesday, we'll start getting everything together for this fulfillment and stuff. So my goal is I want you guys to trust me. A lot of people were skeptical of trying Kickstarter because people don't trust Kickstarter. People don't trust crowdfunding campaigns because, there's a lot of creators out there that go out there, ask people for their money, their hard-earned money, and then they turn around and then they walk away with the money. They end up spending the money, spending the funds and stuff like that. And I don't want to be that type of person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at Grums too. Like, everybody put money out for that game, Ember, and still haven't seen that shit yet. It's been out for what? Ember been around for what? Been in development for how long? 8 years now? The man collected damn near $1 million probably at this point, and no one still haven't seen shit about that damn game, and no one is saying anything about it. Everybody's looking the other way. People's not questioning him because he shared the same politics, and that's another reason why I stopped fucking with the culture war as much as I do now. And like, I don't like the wokies, but now the anti-woke side is really starting to piss me off too, because they're also being hypocritical. And I know people say it doesn't matter, like it's crowdfunding and stuff. You're not guaranteed, but that's not the point. I'm about integrity. I'm about being a person of my word. I'm about being transparent. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care I don't care how much we agree with each other and stuff. All that shit go out the window when you a person who's unethical or who doesn't have any integrity at all. It doesn't mean anything. I don't care what you say. I don't care if we agree with each other and stuff like that. If you're a person that don't have no integrity at all, then none of that stuff means anything. It doesn't mean anything. I don't trust you as a person. I don't trust you as an individual at all. You know what I'm saying? So looking at Grums and looking at many other people's when it comes to crowdfunding, a lot of people don't have trust. A lot of people don't have faith and everything like that. And I don't want to be that person when it comes to Venus and Ryan comics. So my goal is to be upfront and to be as transparent as possible because I want you guys to trust me or with like that with your money. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys pre-ordered, you guys gave me your money, and I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna get the product that you asked for, that you put money down for. I'm gonna make sure that every step of the way and make sure I put it out there. Every step that I make, every move that I make is going to be provided with either a receipt, an explanation, or even screenshots to show that, hey, this is where the money this is where your money went, and this is where you're going to get your product that you had pre-ordered and that you put money down on. So I'm a very serious person about that. Yeah, crowdfunding isn't guaranteed. That's the crazy part. Said it's over, fellas. Mugen Lord finna Dax us into buying it now. That's he got. See you next stream. Can't wait to do digital comic. It's awesome. Peace. All right. Hypnotic and I'm called all the time. A few other though. I do see that. I just want that part. Want that part of the audience. Yeah, like when it comes to Grums, like I at first I thought he was like, oh, okay, not bad, but like the dude is very is it's very he's very either I'm very suspicious of him. I don't really fully trust Grums. I think he's in it for himself when it comes to this, and he's very hypocritical and inconsistent at times and stuff. And like I said, people put him up as the pillar of the anti-woke movement and stuff like that, which is the wrong thing to do. I don't think you should put anybody up as a pillar or as a symbol or icon for a movement. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, how can we talk about certain people or how you can talk about the other side and then you turn around and you're scamming your own audience or you're lying to your own audience or you're being sneaky or you're being untrustful, no, untrustworthy when it comes to your audience and stuff like that behind closed doors or whatever. And no one seems to say anything and really bring it to light. Because when people do bring it to light, people attack that person or make excuses. You know what I'm saying? Because he shared the same politics. And that's what pisses me off about this whole anti-woke side. It's no different than the other side. You're just playing on a different team. I'm glad about this attitude, by the way. I say this about Air July. Won't call me. I happily add you to the list. It's the attitude and the work ethic I like. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna be involved. I'm gonna be on Vaughn Coleman's tomorrow. I'm on Vaughn Coleman's stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. We're gonna be talking about Invincible, the Invincible cartoon series and stuff. We'll be talking about that. So if you go to my matter of fact, let me check my X real quick. Just in case if you can get because you guys can actually bookmark it if you guys want to come through and chat it up and stuff. I'll be there to chat with everybody. Where did I put it? Yeah, here we go. I'll post the link right now. So if you guys want to come chat with Coleman and me on his stream tomorrow, I'll be on his stream tomorrow. You can come check that. You can come check that out and stuff like that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the stream. I'm glad you guys came through. Stuck through with the stream and stuff. I had fun with you guys, and hope you guys have a good rest of your night. And I'll be seeing you Game Fiends later. Peace out.